All right. Let me know when you're ready, Ross.
I will let you know.
Angry coffee sipping.
Angry
No
coffee.
sass from you.
Ugh.
No
It's
sass
happy
from
orgasm fun time.
Oh,
Turn your key, sir.
And it's Death Wish coffee, so very angry.
good grief. All right. Where did I put my glasses?
Like you did
Lane
last-
hid him from you.
Yeah.
Actually, he kind of did.
Lane is being mean. Hey, we got it here. All right.
The next phase of Marvel, and we review The Bad Batch. All of this and more tonight on The Real Super Geeks.
Hang on your capes.
Today's edition of the Real Super Geeks podcast. My name is Carlos Pedraza. And welcome. It is Friday, May 7th, in the year of our quarantine 2021. And we are here for another weekly episode of the Real Super Geeks, in which we're going to be lots of Marvel news this week, and a little bit of DC news, a little bit of HBO news, and a big gaming lawsuit reveals industry secrets. It's going to be interesting. So let's find out how we're all doing this week. I, of course, am Carlos Pedraza, and I'm joined by my fellow hosts, and we're going to see how we weathered this week. And we will begin with Sun Seal. How are you? And more importantly, well, not more importantly, but also importantly, where the hell are you, son, this week?
So, my avatar's still going to be here this week, but it's kind of sort of face reveal time. Yeah. So hold on, just a moment. Let me switch scenes here. There we go. I'm not. Maybe I am actually playing Elite Dangerous right now.
Yes.
Twitch stream.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm in the world of Elite Dangerous right now, and I'm going to head to Earth.
All right, that's it. I hear it's a wonderful planet.
Me
So
too.
it's
okay.
It's okay.
You don't
Kind
have
of a
no
shithole right
autobot.
now. Nothing but pestilence and disease.
The guy.
And I'm not
calls
talking
it
about
mostly harmless.
coronavirus.
And in order,
Don't hit the wall.
I can already tell that you're going to be mesmerized by this the whole way.
Oh, well, I was actually, before everybody joined, I was treating...
If you want to see more of this, twitch.tv/
Sun Seal, right? You know, right there, like the little, like the name is spelled.
Sun Ciel. All right. Well, folks at
kinda
home,
like
you can
Wing
catch
Commander.
up. I like the graphics. It's pretty cool.
Oh, it gets even better. Just wait. Just
All
wait till
right.
he
Oh
jumps
yeah,
into Super Cruise.
it's done what Star Citizen has done in significantly less time.
Of course.
There's me
Well,
going to warp.
Oh, there you
Star
go.
Citizen. Star Citizen is the Axanar of video games.
It literally,
Yes,
it
it
literally is. If you look at all the Axanar YouTube descriptions, they have links straight to Star Citizen.
Except Star Citizen
Really?
is based on its
Yeah.
own IP, though.
Yes, that has proved to be no saving grace for it, however. All right, well, let's find out how some of the rest of us are doing this week, and we'll check in with Raina. Raina, how's it going?
Well, it started out as a crazy rough week, but I finally got down to getting some books in on my Kindle Prime subscription, so I was like binging those left and right. Shout out to the Wolves of Forest Grove, which is an amazing trilogy. 4th book coming out next week. So, yeah, that I got around to watching some stuff, but that was mostly I did a lot more reading and writing this week than I have been in a while. So,
well, praise literacy. All right, well, good for you. Let's find out how things are in Utah with Ensign Beard Fosse.
Oh, that's me.
That's you, Jason.
Things are going good. I just found out that one of my kids' friends took my AirPods. We just got back, and so he's having to learn the disappointment of when friends let you down. So I have a rough week of parenting ahead of me.
Oh boy. Well, send Silas our best. All right. Well, folks at home, you know him as the mellifluous voice that introduces the Super Geeks podcast every week. We like to call him the Eyebrows of Doom. Ross, how's it going?
Doing good. I got my Johnson & Johnson shot yesterday, so
Yay!
feeling pretty
Yay!
good. Glad to contribute to some form of normalcy. And yeah, and Sun's not the only one in a bit of a game right now, as I am about to show off a bit of Minecraft that I got back into this week.
Is everybody
With
just gonna
my little
start
hut right
playing,
here.
like video games while we do this podcast? Do I
Yes.
need to turn the Xbox back on?
Yes. Because
Which started as a hut, but then it became a bunker
Don't they all?
where I've got all of my crafting tables and storage and a convenient mine shaft right over here.
I can't see anything.
Sadly, we don't
Yeah,
see anything.
we only see
Ah,
your
shit.
lyric.
Never mind.
You need to,
All right,
you need
we'll-
to change scenes, Ross.
We'll check in with you a bit later in case you're able to make that work. Meanwhile, let's check in with Travis and Lane. Hi,
Hello,
Lane.
everybody.
Hello, Travis. Choo Choo, you're wearing your Choo Choo shirt this week.
Yes, I am.
Nice.
Travis needs all the love and hugs available.
I could use some, honestly. This week, I had a very nice weekend at Lake McConaughey. The water was cold, unfortunately. I actually, it wasn't frigid by any means, but diving down the few times I did, the temperature would actually hurt my face physically. And it felt like the water pressure was increased in only 5 feet of water, which was very bizarre. But I mean, a camper, one of the other campers actually gave me some jambalaya and fried catfish that he caught that day, so that was good. But as soon as I got back, I was just hit hard immediately with all sorts of anxiety and depression, and I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I had to I'm taking a few steps back in terms of social media and whatnot is concerned. I'm taking an extended leave of absence in terms of admitting the Star Trek group. People were very understanding, very supportive. I appreciate every single one of them. I know a few of them watch the show, so hello, everybody. Thank you. And yeah, I mean, the days have gotten a bit better. I wish I could have gotten a bit more writing done, but I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I've been spending too much time in Skyrim and stressing because my roommate's getting a house.
How did Lane enjoy the camping trip?
He mostly slept in the car for the most part.
Really? He didn't even sleep in the tent?
He seems like a prima donna like that.
He's kind of getting there. Yeah.
He's dipping his toe into the wilderness.
Yes, you are. Don't tell me you're not getting prima donna. You were giving some attitude, freaking before the show. So
I was complaining about what
reason-
you were watching or wanting to watch something. I don't know.
He hid your glasses.
yeah, he did hide my glasses, and
Lane.
he wants to watch the new Mortal Kombat movie, and I'm just like, I haven't been in the mood for it.
Well, you can let him watch it by himself.
You left him on the bed, so he's a big enough. He's a
Look.
big enough thing
Look,
where it doesn't bother him.
He needs to understand that when I was growing up, my mom was very sheltered. like I was very sheltered under my mom. I didn't even know what Mortal Kombat was until like 2004. And
Same with me. I mean,
well,
about Mortal Kombat.
You're just sheltered
you're
from
just a
everything
boomer.
but
You're
food.
just a boomer.
I am a boomer, actually.
Hell yeah, you're
You're
a
the
boomer.
oldest one here.
I am. I was born in the second to last year of the baby boom.
Ugh.
I thought you were born
But
in the
yeah.
60s.
Yes, I was born in 1963. Baby boom ended in 64.
But yeah, that's what's going on with me. Get me off the screen and tell us how you're doing, Justin.
All right. Yes, let's go over to you, stalwart producer Justin Burton.
Hello. Well, it's been a pretty slow week. I haven't had too much of a chance to watch anything other than, our topics for tonight. But I've been playing a lot of Elite Dangerous. We started a new community event this week, and it's been going pretty well.
All right. Well, good to hear. It seems like the week went pretty fast for everybody, which I guess in some ways is a good thing. All right. Well, shall we jump into our topics for the week? And we'll start with the big one, of course, which was the release of the first 2 episodes of the long-awaited Star Wars spinoff, The Bad Batch. And yes, very excited. Travis, we're going to let you lead off on this one because I think you're the biggest sort of Clone Wars / Rebels fan in the group here. So launch in. Of course, this is, about a group of 5 clone warriors that were defective because they're not acting like they're clones. And anyways, and the aftermath of the Clone War, immediate aftermath of the Clone War.
Okay, so
tell us what you thought, Travis and Lane.
I absolutely loved it. If you guys remember back last year when the final season of the Clone Wars came out, the final season started with a little mini arc introducing the Bad Batch. I don't know if any of you got a chance to potentially see it before this premiere, but like when I first saw it, I did not see this spinoff coming in any way. Like when I first saw it, I was very like, yeah, it was a good arc. Not great, but it was good. Like, it was very fun, and that's the first thing I'm looking for when it comes to the Clone Wars. And the way that they introduced the Bad Batch to us, honestly, like, it was like getting to know these like I don't want to say defective clones because they are very good at what they do, but like these unique clones, very much.
Well, they're defective because they're unique, right?
Yeah.
They're apparent.
Unique. I look at them like the mutant A team of the clones. The mutant A team. That's who these people are. And like,
thank you for the soundtrack, Fasse.
yes, and like seeing them in action in these first episodes of the final season of Clone Wars was fun, and it gave us some nice closure for Echo, who was a recurring character in the Clone Wars, and when the Bad Batch was announced as a series, I was excited, but I had no idea like where they were going to go with it. And as we started to see more trailers and everything, that excitement kept building, and that pilot was that premiere episode was just brilliant. I was just giddy.
What captivated you the most, Travis? Was it the story? Was the characters? Setting
a little bit of everything, honestly. Like seeing the Bad Batch, more the focus in this than they were in the episodes of the Clone Wars. I mean, they were focused, but I mean, there were still Anakin and Obi-Wan and whatnot, doing their thing, and seeing them like really start to develop their personalities, seeing conflicts starting to happen within the team, especially after Order 66 is given, which was a brilliant scene, and seeing the little Padawan Caleb Dune, running off. That was a really cool moment. Like after Order 66 was given, just seeing like them just in utter confusion as to what is going on, and seeing one of them who was actually one of my personal favorites from back in the day. So I was kind of like, Justin, we should probably flash some spoilers here.
Oh, right. Yes. Bring on the alerts.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Anyway, as I was saying, like seeing the conflicts, start to develop within this team, especially after Order 66 is given, like it felt natural because like you don't know just how much the effects of each individual clone here affects them mentally. And so seeing Crosshair kind of like impacted by Order 66 to the point where he is, seeing the Jedi as the enemy and getting manipulated by Tarkin himself or reprogrammed to go after the Bad Batch, I thought was like that. I did not see that coming. And part of me is really bummed because, again, I actually kind of dug Crosshair from the Clone Wars. And so knowing that he's, probably going to be one of the main antagonists here, I was like, oh, I mean, I guess they had to kind of nerf the team down because if you have someone who is always dead on with their aim, there's literally nothing you can't do, I guess. But just like the conflicts that this show was able to bring forward, and like their reaction to seeing the Galactic Empire on the rise and seeing the Republic that they were fighting for starting to like unravel, and seeing like just the things that they were fighting against starting to make their way into the Republic that they were fighting for, and seeing them just kind of taken a bit back and like, why is this happening? What do we do now? And like everything like that. It's just, and seeing like, oh man, just seeing them going to like go and take out these, sorry, I am slobbering over myself right now. When they are ordered to go take out these separatists, when they are in fact some of the very first insurgents who will stand up against the Empire, and seeing their reaction to that. They did so much right in this very first episode, just in this very crucial moment of the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. And it's easily one of the absolute, like, I'm going to go on record right now and say that this is probably one of the best premiere episodes for a series that I have ever seen. And that is saying a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really think of a premiere episode that has really had such a lasting, like, such a huge impact on me. And I mean, yeah, I get it. I may not be the biggest Star Wars guy, but I know that I absolutely love these animated shows from Dave Filoni, like the Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch now. Like, these are shows that I look upon, and this is elite Star Wars for me. But I just, like, I cannot think of any other pilot episode that has had such a, like, really, really damn good impact on me. So, though, like, The Mandalorian can suck it. Hot take.
Oh, dude, that's them's fighting words. Well,
Yeah.
let's check in with some other folks and see how well these first two episodes landed with them. Let's hear from the Eyebrows of Doom.
Well.
Screen.
Yeah, switch screen to Eyebrows of Doom. All right, Ross,
There
There
all
was an
yours.
likes
awful
the-
lot to like. There was an awful lot to like about this series at the beginning. I haven't caught up on Clone Wars yet, so I wasn't officially introduced to the Bad Batch like some of you guys were. My introduction to the Bad Batch was actually the incomplete episode that they released shortly after the series' cancellation.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a bit different. It's a little different.
Yeah.
But I like these guys. They're charismatic. They're unique. They're instantly identifiable. They're
Mhm.
all so different from the cut and paste clones that we've seen before. There's a lot more character and life to them, and it's interesting to see them react to the world around them. And there's really no other point of view from a soldier on the ground, at least, to tell this kind of story, because the Jedi are all on the run. They are staying as far away from civilization as possible to keep from getting spotted. So if you really want to get a view of what's going on within the Empire, this is probably the best way to do it. The characters are all fun. I'm really intrigued by Omega.
Oh, yes.
A female clone from the template. That's pretty cool. I've seen a few questions saying, is that possible? Well, in fiction, it happens often enough. There's a female clone of Wolverine, X-23, who eventually becomes Wolverine herself. We saw her in the movie Logan. Laura, she's one of my favorite Marvel characters ever. What else to say? Leading with Tarkin was very smart. He is emblematic of the transition from Republic to Empire, and his presence in the new expanded universe, especially what's seen on screen, has kind of led the way. I love seeing him fleshed out more and more from the absolutely perfect villain that we got in the first Star Wars movie. That link to the original movie is definitely a nice touch, and I'm glad they're continuing to do that. Let's see what else to say. The second episode especially was very interesting. Well, actually, backtracking to the Kaminoans. One of you guys are probably going to say it too, but I'm curious if they don't have a failsafe switch that will return the clones to their control at some point when it becomes clear that the Empire is going to betray them, which we all know is coming.
That's a really fun theory because, like, we were talking a bit about this before the show. We were talking about fun Star Wars video games, but in 2005 we had Battlefront 2 come out, and there is a level in the campaign in which the Kaminoans actually do take a stand against the Empire. Now, granted, this is now rendered Legends. This is not officially canon. But it would be really fun to see them revisit this. Like if the Kaminoans use their cloning facilities to try and make a clone army to stand up against the Empire, as they tried to do in Battlefront 2. I think that would be a really, really fun idea. Like, yeah, like I'm totally on board for that.
All right. Well, let's check in with Sun. Did you get a chance to watch?
Let me finish my thought real quick.
Sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead, Ross.
I was the second episode when we see the clone deserter, which is another really excellent take on at the point of view that mirrors the Bad Batch themselves. Just seeing that personal story, that relatable story of a husband and wife, a man and a woman trying to protect their family and their children as the galaxy, as their entire worldview is shattered. It's if we get more like that, if we're getting a lot more like that, this is going to be an excellent series.
Remind me, how many episodes we expect in this first season?
12?
12?
I'll look it up.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Well,
look it up.
yeah, that
It's
sounds
definitely
really
an auspicious beginning. Anything else you want to add, Ross?
That's it.
All right.
By the way,
Sun.
Travis, I think you're right on that because if you notice, the one line they said was, we got to wait and see what side the Empire is on. Right there towards the end of the first episode when they were back on, what was his name? Canonia?
Amino?
Kaminoan.
Yeah. So it could happen. Never know. They might pull from Legends. They tend to kind of surprise us on these shows. So.
Yeah, they have from time to time for sure. Okay, son, I see you're not at Earth yet, so would you care?
I've been at Earth.
It looks like you're.
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. Sure enough.
I found a nav beacon called the Interplanetary Road Trip. So I thought I'd go and scan it. So yeah, but basically, I've not seen any of the Bad Batch. I've not seen any of Rebels. I've not seen any of Clone Wars outside of the 2D animated Clone Wars.
And
so,
Andy Tartakovsky.
You're upsetting Lane. He's giving you strong side eye.
See, I'm not upsetting Lane at all. I'm just upsetting Travis. At this point. See, here's the thing. I don't give a damn about either, including Mandalorian, if they don't have Cara Dune in it.
Brutality.
Okay, then let's switch over to Raina and find out how Raina felt about it.
Quick thing, real quick. There's actually going to be 16 episodes.
Wow, that is
all right.
That's quite a batch.
Yes, quite a batch. Shut up. And while I was looking,
someone tells them.
While I was looking this up, I actually came across a Screen Rant article that I would be totally behind for once.
I was going to say for once.
Yes, because I actually kind of touched base on this in the chat earlier this week when Bad Batch premiered. I was like, we fucking need a Bad Batch video game. And this article says why Star Wars needs a Bad Batch game, not a Republic Commando remake. I am totally on board for that.
So not some stupid MMO wannabe. I'll take it.
All right. But yeah, rant over. Rana, go ahead.
I was going to say, the best thing about the opening episode was, I don't know if you guys noticed that, I really love how the atmosphere goes completely dark, and I love it. It starts out all lighthearted, like we know early Star Wars is, and then as soon as Order 66 happens, you can feel the shift, like how dark it turns quick, and by the time they get to Kamino, it's like suffocating, and I love it, because it feels completely just like the whole force is shifting at that moment. You can feel it all, and I just really love the transition. Like, I agree with Ross. This is the best way to see how fast the Empire just immediately had their stuff in order and ready to go. Like, you could tell Palpatine
almost like
had
it was a plan.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And honestly, I just really love how my favorite thing from the whole first episode is when they go back and they're obviously suspicious that something's going on, but I just love where it's you're literally watching them like they seem like sheeps in like a wolf's den. It is completely like you're waiting for things to go wrong. And I think they just handled it really, really well. And then the second episode, I texted Travis right after I watched it. I was like, this thing is wholesome. This episode is fantastic. It's the show is just really good, and they really strong hooked it. The biggest worry I had was Omega. Anytime I see a kid character, I'm like, dear God, please don't let it be a Wesley. Dear God, don't let it happen. And it didn't happen. Kenny. She's actually really likable. Yeah. She's not over the top. And in fact, she's very helpful. So I think the show is going in a good direction. I don't really have much to say because there's not a whole lot there. But I will say that there hasn't been any characters I actively dislike. And I do got to say, Tarkin was a nice introduction, too, to see how he kind of gets his eye on them. Like, he has always had a sharp eye in the series, even in the Legends continuity, but that was like dead on, and I loved it. The perfect setup, honestly. It's a strong hook.
There's a reason why the Empire's doctrine of how they are dominating the galaxy is called the Tarkin Doctrine.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I will go
Well,
ahead
here's
and also.
here's my hot take. I think Tarkin is a better villain than Darth Vader.
I totally agree, actually.
Yeah,
He was the villain of
yeah.
episode 1 of episode
Tarkin
4.
was always the better villain.
I'll also go
Yeah.
ahead and say this. I'm sorry I keep geeking out here, but if there is one thing that this show and the Clone Wars do absolutely phenomenally, it is how they handle Order 66. God damn it, Carlos! Fucking watch the Clone Wars already.
I'm
need
making
to-
my way through it. I am.
Okay.
I am.
Look,
I'm going to
look.
say something here. I'm going to say something here. Okay. As much as I hate the prequel trilogy, nothing in these shows is better than Order 66 as issued in Revenge of the Sith. When Anakin shows up to the Jedi Temple and the Padawan comes up and says, "Hello, sir.
grief.
We're scared," and you know what happens.
by the way,
That's fucking dark. There's nothing so far in this show that's been
Do you
that
want me to
fucking dark.
Why
do you
did
want
you
me,
have
do you
to
want me to
bring up
ruin
the
that moment
water?
for you right now?
What?
Do you want
Yeah,
me to
bring it
ruin that
on,
moment
Travis.
For you right now.
Do
All
it.
you got to do is look up a little thing called Backstroke of the West and go to this scene, because what Backstroke of the West is it's the entire 2-hour 20-minute Revenge of the Sith, but it's a dub of some botched translation train wreck subtitles.
No, but
And
no. But I mean, okay, blah 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 blah. It's not the transformation of somebody who was the boy that you hoped would get out of slavery and grow up into be the hero. Grow up to be, to see him slaughter younglings. There's nothing in Star Wars darker than that. Force choking his wife. Nothing is darker than that.
Well,
I mean, look, I'm not gonna say that that's not dark. The movie handled it really kind of bad, though. There's a reason I have as many gripes as I do with Revenge of the Sith. But again,
Which we argue about a lot.
The movie handled Anakin before he turned to the dark side poorly. He wasn't the tragic hero. He wasn't like I when you watch a movie and something happens and you feel like you get a punch in the gut.
Mhm.
That's what Anakin's fall should have felt like, and it didn't.
yeah,
It felt like an
I
eventuality.
I agree with you.
But when he
Because
killed
we
the
knew it
younglings,
was going to happen, yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't because we knew it was going to happen. It should
well,
have been
we
something
knew
we
the
didn't
turn
know.
was going to happen. But what you're
Right.
saying is that seeing it play out in a very sort of
Predictable way.
No,
No,
visceral.
killing the
I think
youngling
it
wasn't
was just kind of.
predictable.
It wasn't handled properly a lot of the time. I mean, you look. The entire Attack of the Clones, the first 2/3 of that movie, and just seeing him whining and
No, he's
just-
He
cringe.
hates sand. It's
He's-
coarse and it
he's
gets
Luke.
everywhere.
Listen, Anakin.
He's Luke
Anakin,
in that moment.
No. In the prequel trilogy, Anakin was super cringe. I mean, cringier than cringe.
Yeah,
I get that.
So he was basically a teenager, like he was in the fucking film.
No, he was that Duggar. I'm sorry, I won't go there.
Oh.
Fasay.
You know what?
No,
I'm,
but
just
I mean-
gonna say, I'm just gonna say, there's a reason why I respect the Clone Wars series this much, because it actually handles Anakin's gradual slide into the dark side.
Clone
with
Wars handles it better than
finesse.
Revenge
But-
of the Sith, bar none.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
but
true.
but
Okay,
Anakin shouldn't have slid. It should have been he should have been good and virtuous through the trilogy. He should have been a tragic hero. And I get that Clone Wars kind of reverses the damage that Attack of the Clones and the first half of Revenge of the Sith did, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he was a whiny bitch in all those movies. And yes,
Yeah,
Luke's a
I'm
whiny
not-
bitch too, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
not,
the
I'm not
difference.
taking that away from you
Well,
at
you
all.
know,
Like he is.
Skywalker is nothing but a whiny bitch. You know, we get that. You know, they got that part right. At least.
Leia wasn't.
Yeah, but the
Well,
thing
we
is,
didn't see it as a teenager, did we?
it doesn't matter if he was a whiny bitch or not. The fact that they did it the way he did, the whole movie, and I told Travis this movie ain't Anakin's freaking movie. It never was. Palpatine, the way he did that, it was a chess game, and I loved how they did it. It was subtle. That's the point. Is he was so invested in his own bullshit that Palpatine was able to just slightly move the cards a little over, and it was able to swing. That was the whole point. That was like, to me, I didn't need him to do a hard dive into something. I felt like it was done naturally enough through the film.
But you grew up watching you grew up watching the prequels, right? So you didn't grow up with the, Obi-Wan telling Luke that his son or his father was a close friend, and that, so when you find out that it was, your perspective of Anakin is much different than my perspective of Anakin, which is through the lens of Obi-Wan in A New Hope.
Oh, and I agree with that. I started with the prequels first, and this is going to sound shocking, but for as nerd as I am, that was one of the first movies I ever saw in theaters with my middle school friends. I saw Revenge of the Sith. That was my first Star Wars movie. So maybe I'm a little bit sweet on it. I think it's not as good as when it was before, but I did go back and watch everything. But, I mean, that could be a perspective change.
So
But
I
I
have a
think-
question.
brain aneurysm over there.
There.
Carlos
Yeah.
is just being
There.
aware of his mortality.
I really am,
excuse me?
because it's like, wow, you were in middle school.
Hello. I'd like to posit a comeback to Carlos about Leia not being a whitey bitch.
Yeah.
It's because we couldn't see her go, would you just wait until my father hears about this?
She had a chance to say that. Instead, she fell back on the Imperial, on the Senate, not the Imperial Senate, but
I
on
have
the
a
Senate.
feeling you guys are going to make me down one of these things.
Just keep playing with the fidget spinner, Travis.
Yeah, keep playing.
All right, Fosse, weigh in.
So this is going to sound like I didn't like the show, but I don't think it's. I mean, I thought it was okay. I thought it was enjoyable. Nothing about it was really, it was a feature length premiere.
Choose
So
your words carefully.
it was a feature length premiere, and it felt a little long at times. The story seemed a little drug out. I think that it would have been better had they released this as one or two or three episodes as opposed to one whole long episode. I think you could have told a better story. You could have told the story a little bit better that way. The second episode was not as good as the first. So I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but it was enjoyable, but I don't think it was great.
Hey, Jason, what's your address?
I'm gonna have a hot take here and say that the first two episodes of The Bad Batch are better than the first two episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Ooh.
Brutality.
I mean, you
I
can
don't
say
know.
that, but you'd also be wrong.
I'm going to be with Fosse on this one.
Jason, you think the best episode of Enterprise is?
Oh, don't bring this up again! Oh my
I don't
god!
care. Like this is.
But
the
I'm
one-
not saying. I'm not
like,
saying.
this is the one time I'm doing this, Carlos. This is
Okay.
my one. Like, don't you tell me
You don't say.
that the first two, like, no, you don't get no.
Yes, it is. You know why? Because the first episode of Mandalorian, we saw an IG bounty hunter, which we hadn't seen since the original trilogy, and we got Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is greater
Who
than
the
Omega
fuck
every
cares?
way of the
Yep,
week.
yep. I have to agree with Fosse on that one.
Who the fuck cares about
Every baby
fucking
Yoda fan
Yoda?
ever.
Pretty much, Baby Yoda is the hero.
Hot take.
is
Baby
the hero
Yoda is
of
better
the
than
Baby
pandemic.
Yoda was a
Grogu.
merchandise
Baby Yoda doesn't
that
even
Disney
do
just doesn't
anything
know how to
until
let
episode
go
2.
of.
He's irrelevant.
Grogu.
Grogu is irrelevant.
Well,
His name
Grogu
is Grogu.
His name is irrelevant, but the character is awesome. And frankly, it was a game changer in the mainstream society, like in a way that Omega will never be. As much as
because since Baby Yoda is more popular than Omega.
I'm sure Disney. Disney thinks Grogu's cool. How many plushies have they sold in 1 year of that thing?
yeah,
I'm sure they think it's awesome.
More plushies than they go to plane.
It's a George Lucas move, damn it. That's all Grogu is.
No. Grogu had Grogu's
Can we just
story
call
is
him
the
Baby
story
Yoda?
Yeah, Baby Yoda's story
His name
is
is
the story.
Grogu.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Baby Yoda is not a Lucas move. Baby Yoda is a Disney move because a Lucas move is Yaddle.
Ooh.
Oh, I'll
The
be
point
right.
is
I'll give a point to Son on
Okay,
that one.
that's a fatality, Justin.
You missed your opportunity.
I don't think that the
Flawless victory.
honestly, if you guys actually went back and read that was supposed to be a 1-season thing, and they only extended it because of how popular the
You
character
just made
is.
Jason go get his Baby Yoda.
I snapped him out of.
You know what a
existence.
George Lucas move is?
No,
Baby
I'm-
Jabba.
I'm watching Jason
Don't
go
take an
get
L
his-
on that
Don't
one.
you dare remind
I'm
me
not
of that. Don't you
I'm not
dare
dying
remind
on a
me
hill
of
for
that.
Lucas. I'm just saying. I'm not dying on a hill.
One thing I hate about the Clone Wars, like, good.
Oh, Jesus, man.
and actually,
You're
you know,
part of the problem.
let's be fair, because the whole issue of whether Baby Yoda or was it George Lucas or a Disney move, both George Lucas and Disney have always thrived economically on merchandising. So from the get-go, there's a reason why George Lucas kept those rights and negotiated those rights from 20th Century Fox. So because they knew that was a way to make money, but they don't make money just because they're cute. There's something about these characters that resonate with people, not just in geekdom, but in the larger world that makes them sell. There's lots of cute toys you can buy, but these count because the characters count.
I don't care how many toys you sell. I can tell you more about Omega in these first 2 episodes than I can from Grogu in the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
You can cut more than Grogu in the entire first season.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I will actually die on that hill and say that Baby Yoda contributes nothing to that first season. If he wasn't there, it would be the same exact show.
Untrue. He saved the Mandalorian at least twice.
Wait.
Twice.
He's the
Grogu
whole MacGuffin
was
of
the
the
MacGuffin.
Yeah, he is.
But that's the problem.
But you have to
That's
have,
the problem with it.
well, but you need a MacGuffin. That's
Yeah, but I'm saying if he's a bounty hunter, these could have been different people that he was going after. Really setting up all the stuff the Mandalorian can do. No, we get stuck with him babysitting for a season.
No, it's about a man who has lived a solitary lifestyle for as long as he can remember, part of a religious order that is about taking someone under your wing and kind of being an adoptive parent to them, finding somebody to take under his wing and to be an adoptive parent to, and coming through all of the things of fatherhood. The reason why the Mandalorian, it's basically like the Bad Batch is freaking ripping off that relationship between Hunter and Omega. It's not even that original. They've already told the story.
You know what? It wasn't original in The Mandalorian either.
well, folks, of course, fatherhood as a theme is a pretty universal one. So you can't,
Yeah.
so that's not really the issue. But the point is, having a universal theme is something that broadens your appeal beyond just a niche audience. And The Mandalorian did that really well. It bridged across age groups, it bridged across other demographics, and that's significant. And plus, I don't see necessarily the need to have to say one is bad and one is good. They both aim to do a different set of things.
Oh, I just had an idea. I just had a thought.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carlos. If
No,
you're
go ahead,
going to
go
want to finish.
We're
The
gonna get
mainline
over here,
Star
Ryan.
Wars trilogies have all been about families by blood. The Mandalorian and now the Bad Batch are
Jason,
about
can you
the
please just change his diaper? Go ahead, Ross. I'm sorry.
about the families you choose.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point.
Well, no, but you could say that the sequel trilogy, Rey chose her family.
Yeah, but it was all eventually focused around her apparent relation in the end, her relationship with Palpatine
Mhm.
and her rejection of that
Right.
blood relation.
But accepting the adoptive relationship with the Skywalkers.
And kinda romantic.
That's hard to say.
Let's not touch Star Wars romance. It's been awkward all over the fucking place.
and is
Yep.
right now this minute.
Yep. Luke was looking
Yeah.
for love in all the wrong places.
Oh,
So, so we're all in agreement. Rogue Squadron is the best Star Wars game. Good to know.
Battlefront
No.
2005.
I'll give it 5 Grogu's out of
okay.
10.
Who else? Justin, have you weighed in officially yet? You're on mute, Justin.
My opinions pretty much match everybody's here. You know, I enjoyed it. It's been a little long at times on the first episode, but you know, I was able to sit through it, and it was really fun. And I was really happy to find that they surprised us with another episode this week. So, you know, hey, you know, they could have made its way to a whole nother week for episode 2, but Disney being Disney, I quite enjoyed it.
You know, it's like hooking someone on heroin. You know, the first batch is free.
Or a Baby Yoda.
The Bad
You mean,
Batch.
you mean
Was
the
it,
bad
did they get
batch?
that? The Bad Batch of heroin?
Not even one.
I'm sorry, I refuse to say the word Grogu. Grogu sounds like something you get stuck in the back of your throat
It-
and you try to
just
hatch
Have you
up.
heard Star Wars names?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
I have.
They are really bad. They're really bad, and in Bad Batch,
It could have
they
been a
continue
lot
to be
worse.
bad.
Hey, Hunter is a pretty fun name. and
Hunter
so
is good,
Crosshair.
but Utapu, whatever that planet was.
Utapu.
where they- yeah.
I mean,
Ugh.
that's
Anyway,
Like
Star Wars
Star
names
Trek
are-
has
they're
better
awful.
names.
They're awful.
Like Star Trek has better
Rin
names.
Rin
Star
Doof.
Trek does have better names. It does.
Rin Rin Doof. Like, you gotta like, if you guys haven't seen that awesome little flash, I believe from College Humor, back when The Force Awakens was just coming out, they did a wonderful little skit called "Star Wars Names Are Dumb," and it's this flash cartoon. Basically of them saying like, we've hired all the galaxy's best bounty hunters, and he just starts reading off these names that are just getting gradually dumber and dumber and dumber. It's like Rin Rin Doof BOOB5. Like, just, like
I have a different. I have a slightly
Go
different
ahead.
take. When Star
Go
Wars
ahead.
has some awesome names. Han Solo.
She would.
That is a good name.
That's a great
Luke and
name.
Leia are good names.
Luke and Leia, great name.
Darth Vader is a
Um,
great name.
Wedge Antilles is a pretty cool name.
Yes.
But it's like the names are either awesome and great, or they're freaking
Or
Greedo.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'll take counterpoint to Wedge Antilles because it sounds like I'm ordering cheese. I'd like a wedge of Antilles, please.
Hell,
It's a salad,
there's an
it's a
entire
salad.
species
A wedge
of
of
food
pie.
out there with the Mon Calamari.
that's a little too
Bib
tasty.
Fortuna,
Yeah, that was bad too.
Boba Fett.
All the planets that end with Ueen.
I
That's actually somewhat cohesive.
You know what? YouTube poop has made me think of Tatooine as Tatatoot. That's
Um,
it. Tatatoot.
Okay, so
Yes,
I'm gonna
YouTube
weigh in on Bad Batches as far as I've seen so far. The upsides, it's very cinematic. You know, it doesn't feel animated, even though it clearly is, but it has a very cinematic look and feel. to everything, and takes a lot of its cinematography cues from the original movies, the good parts of the movies. So I really enjoyed watching it from that perspective. I've always had a problem with the droid warriors, droid soldiers, because they're just so dumb.
Droids.
Yeah, the battle droids, and they sound like they're all on helium all the time.
Yeah, I will sympathize with you on that.
It's hard to take it seriously as an antagonist,
I hated what they did with the battle droids in Revenge of the Sith. Like, I actually kind of dug them in the first 2 episodes. And then when Revenge of the Sith came and they started like, oh, excuse me, blah, 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 like, oh, God. And they are not that much better in the Clone Wars.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're really not. Like, sometimes they have their comedic moments, but, like, yeah.
Well, they're there for comedy. I mean, that literally is there. But it takes exactly. And it sort of takes the shine off of the dramatic aspects. Some of the shine, not all of it. Some of the shine off the dramatic aspects of the...
We're going over the cliff.
Worse than Jar Jar, because Jar Jar was one character.
Yeah.
He wasn't like the entire villain like army.
Or was he?
And he also looked a lot like Jar Jar.
But see, that's the thing. That's the fall of the writing in those movies. Is that you have this army that is comedic simply because their entire purpose is to be basically a tossable army.
And you don't want to feel too bad about.
So you don't really feel bad about destroying a whole bunch of robots whose orders are Roger, Roger.
You know what? I just pictured like Lucas was like, you know what? I really pissed them off in Phantom Menace. Wait till they see a whole army of Jar Jars. That'll make them laugh.
You're probably right.
But then as we progress through the movies, somehow all of a sudden these droid army things become their own kind of datas, where they have this weird sentience all their own instead of just following fucking orders.
Yeah, well, that's the droids in general in Star Wars.
Well, that's true with droids in general, but the battle droids,
the battle droids would purposefully be stripped back just to follow orders.
Right. And what kills me is you have battle droids and then you have the droidicas. Why wouldn't your entire friggin' army be the droidicas?
Because the droidicas are 3 times as costly to make.
Yeah, remember,
there's your entire army be special forces.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole economic aspect, actually, that I thought was interesting. They brought up in the pilot of Bad Batch to what it costs to maintain order in the galaxy, and so that Tarkin giving that whole rationale for why they were switching to a conscripted army and abandoning clones. It adds this shade of realism, frankly, that I think strengthens the overall world.
But that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and this is why. Tarkin was all about order. He was all about maintaining the status quo, and with the inhibitor chips, he can do that with clones. He can't do that with conscripts.
Yes, but clones need to be purchased, produced, and trained. Conscripts don't need to be purchased. Conscripts are even more expendable.
You don't need to purchase it when you're occupying the facility that makes them. Like you could easily take over Camino, which is what they did in, I think that's what they did in Legends. Eventually.
Did anybody watch the Han Solo movie? Because that argument is defeated, Ross. They may not have been conscripted into the Imperial Army, but they were paid like it was the Navy or any other military branch. That was the big selling point. So there would still be a cost to being paid by the Empire to the soldiers instead of just purchasing them outright.
Okay, here's another reason. it takes a lot less time to create to conscript someone and train them than it does to clone and train.
Yeah, clone. Yeah, and raise.
But you can just maintain your production of clones that are programmed to be loyal.
Well, okay. Obviously, you guys, we don't know what the economics of clones are.
Yeah, we're getting into territory where we might as well start.
We kind of have to take Tarkin at his word that he's done the math and it costs more. And there's a difference between conquering and maintaining order. And the clones made sense as a conquering army to just sort of basically be the galaxy's policemen. Conscripts probably are a more, economically efficient way of doing it.
Nerds.
And they do actually touch base a little bit more with this in Rebels when they introduce Rex. They do mention that, the armor isn't as good as the clone armor was, and it definitely feels like when they approach with the stormtroopers, conscripted army, it feels like they are doing this because of budgetary reasons. And I mean, yeah, it's little bits and pieces more than it is a flat out explanation. But I agree with Carlos, seeing this moment with Tarkin and the Kaminoans, talking about the contracts that were in place and how, that things are about to change. It does flesh it out just a bit more in the right direction.
Oh, and that reminds me of a different analysis that I listened to this past week, is that Palpatine's greatest victory in all of this was waging a galaxy-wide war and dashing on the bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your contract is with the Republic. That entity no longer exists. So, no, that contract is void. We're not paying you anymore. Unless you make it worth our while.
Well, it was way better when Darth Vader said it.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Yeah, but Vader had all the leverage there.
Yeah.
This was a bit more of a negotiation instead of a hostile take.
Indeed.
Hey, do you guys think we're going to see any Inquisitors on the show?
Huh.
Well, the producers have said that we're going to be seeing familiar faces in coming episodes. I don't know exactly what that means, but my guess is, we're going to see some people are revisited for sure.
I am hoping we see Vader.
Oh, yeah, me too.
That's my George theory. Vader's going to show up in this at some point.
I'm going to say I hope not. I wouldn't be against seeing an Inquisitor or two, but one of the cool things about this show is that it is focusing entirely on a group of, this is kind of Mandalorian-esque, praise here. It's focusing on a group of people that don't have the Force. And I personally kind of like it when Star Wars focuses more on people who don't have, lightsaber reflexes and blasting, deflecting laser bolts all over the place. These are people that have to rely more on, their instincts, on their skills, and...
Hey, Travis. You mean, The Mandalorian?
That's what I just said. I just said that this is kind of Mandalorian praise here.
So you're saying we're going to be seeing the Mandalorian?
Even the Mandalorian carries around little mini Yoda. So I mean, this is you got the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars focused on a whole bunch of Jedi. You have Kanan and Ezra in Rebels. This is honestly one of the first shows where there isn't a Force-sensitive user front and center.
Yeah, there is.
The bad one. And Omega.
Omega.
I'm not sure Omega's a Force-sensitive
We're not sure
user,
yet.
honestly.
Yeah, let's wait. Let's wait and see. It would
That's
be
my George theory
though.
for the week.
Oh, that's your George theory for the week.
And
I second
fair
that
enough.
George theory.
We'll see how that goes.
And we will see the Mandalorian.
And I guess the reason why I'm like kind of hoping Darth Vader isn't really around is because like he's kind of starting like he's all over the place. Like give the guy a break. He's off doing his own thing.
Yeah, but this
Wait a
period
minute,
is when
wait a
he's in his damn prime. This is when he's most
Hold
scary. I think if they did a scene like what they did in Jedi Fallen Order at the end, like that's
That
what
was
they need to
But
do.
wait,
That's
Like,
wait.
don't fight, run.
but wait. If we end up seeing the Mandalorian, wouldn't he be a kid around this time?
We're not going to see the Mandalorian.
we're not going to see
It's-
that.
We
Not
are
as the
seeing
Mandalorian.
Ming-Na Wen's character
Yes,
from the
Fennec.
Mandalorian show.
Yeah, Fennec.
I mean, we could be seeing him as a kid. Just saying.
Why? There's no point.
No,
to
Why
it.
not?
there's No,
As they can.
Because there's no point to it.
There's no point in the
We
Star
don't know
Wars
if we're going to
Bad
get
Batch.
Mandalorians in this show at all.
So,
yeah, I like when it comes to the Mandalorians, like there was a reason why they were a big focus in the Clone Wars, and there's a reason why they're a big focus in Rebels. Like, I don't see them being a big focus here so much. They may have an arc further on down the line, but I mean, bringing in Din Djarin as a kid, there's really no reason to.
I'm going to be curious to see if they do anything with Obi-Wan, because that at the end of Rebels and everything, like there was some build up to that. So I'm kind of wondering if we're going to get at least even just a cameo at this point. I don't know. There's a lot of characters that after coming out of Clone Wars that they can prime on through with.
He's getting his own show, so I'm not sure it's necessary.
Yeah.
they could set him up as a teaser if it's in the same time period.
They
don't-
have.
I don't-
They
It's not like the
I don't
first
know
time he
about
done
need a
that.
teaser.
I mean, he's already on Tatooine at this point,
Yeah,
and he's not going anywhere for the next 20-something years.
except they're doing a whole show about him. So like, how much of that is going to be on Tatooine?
That entire show is going to be him shepherding Luke as an adolescent, most likely.
Nope.
God, I hope not.
Nope. It's going to be the Obi-Wan hermit version of Married with Children.
Because the thing is, in the original Star Wars movie, Luke knew who he was. He did not sound like he knew him that well.
Well, yeah. Okay. There is in the mainline Star Wars comic books, there was a couple side episodes that focused on Obi-Wan, and he, from the shadows, not acting directly, would often try and guide Luke to different directions. When his speeder broke down, he would earn money to buy parts and then deliver it to the farm in the dead of night. He was always there to kind of protect Luke from the shadows. He was the guardian from the shadows.
I can accept that. I'm just not sure how interesting a TV show that is.
I think
We will see. We will see. It's definitely a challenge, but if anyone can overcome it, it's probably.
I will say
Dave
that
Filoni
there's
and his folks. Yeah.
I think that they're going to focus, if they're going to cameo anyone, it's going to be Empire-centric characters. I really do believe that.
I will go ahead and say that it'll be interesting to see if Thrawn appears.
I hope he does.
That'd be interesting.
I want to know what the hell happened to him after Rebels.
I'm a sucker for the Inquisitors, so something like that, I'd really like to see the beginning of that. I think that'd be really interesting
That
to me.
would be something. That's not something we know. Some Inquisitors used to be Jedi, like the Grand Inquisitor was a Jedi Master. How the hell did that happen?
But that's what I'm saying. They probably already have Jedis being brainwashed at this time, so it'd be kind of curious to see the first Inquisitors, like them pumped out onto the worlds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that we've seen at the beginning.
I have a funny thought for you, Carlos. And you can go ahead and tell me that I'm completely wrong because the audience just isn't there. But what if Obi-Wan Kenobi turns out to be like a yoga meditation kind of series?
Oh.
The only thing I
Boo.
think of as you said that was the King of the Hill episode where Hank throws out his back and has to go visit that one dude.
I demand you get a unitard.
Or it's just I'm hoping it's like them doing Obi-Wan discovering what he has to do. He's on his way to Tatooine. He's not at Tatooine at that point, but he's on his way to Tatooine, and he's just having adventures along the way, trying to survive.
Look, no matter what happens in the Obi-Wan series, we all know there's one thing that has to happen. He's got to figure out how the hell to commune with Qui-Gon Jinn.
Ooh.
Because that was literally at the end of the Revenge of the Sith,
and that is also touched upon in the Clone Wars.
Wait, it's kind of funny too, because if you guys think about it, we're in like this prime position of where a lot of characters' origins had begun when we started going up into the follow trilogy. So it'd be nice to get characters that we know are already established, but just seeing them start out would be really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, those are the kind of cameos I actually really enjoy. Aren't the ones where they just sort of show up and, oh, look, it's so-and-so. But you actually learn more about them or see a different aspect of them.
And I'm going to do a George theory now. We'll probably see those two Jedi that were on the first episode of Bad Batch. I guess Jedi.
They killed the one.
Are they sure?
Yes.
The other one was
She's
Kanan.
dead. The other one was Kanan. He's the main character in Rebels that trains Ezra.
The apprentice was Kanan.
So I gotta ask, because I know that he's in Rebels. I don't know if I haven't finished the Clone Wars, but is Maul gonna probably make an appearance? Is he roaming around yet, or did he, or after the events?
Maul at this point.
He it's a big maybe because he's not out of the picture at this point.
Yeah.
He is alive during Rebels. And his story does conclude there. But I mean,
at this point he's running a crime syndicate.
Yeah.
Well, that would make him prime then for this show.
Could be. I mean, that's the one. We'll probably see Jabba the Hutt. At least.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Look, I want to see more of the Sand People's culture. Honestly, we got to see.
That'd probably be Obi-Wan.
We got to see tastes of it in The Mandalorian. That they were more than just mindless, people going after doing this or that or whatever. And I'd really like to explore that more in an Obi-Wan series.
I'd like
dude is literally.
Dude's
literally a hermit in the middle of the fucking desert.
I just want them to steal Obi-Wan's stuff and see him get slightly peeved because he doesn't get mad.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay, we're going to move on, folks. Thank you for your thoughts on.
Can we get some ratings?
Yeah, let's get some ratings. Let's start off with Raina. 1 to 10, Raina.
8.
8. Wow. Okay. Stalwart Justin.
8.5.
8.5. Do you have your
8.5 badges?
Do you have your com badges ready for your rating, Passe?
I do.
All right. How do you rate it?
4 out of 5 badges.
4 out of 5 badges. That's the equivalent of an 8 in Raina speak. Okay. Eyebrows of Doom.
I rate this as a medium assault lance.
Good fucking God.
What? I think
At least the badges have some sort of consistency here.
Okay, so what's that name?
I'll talk about these a bit more in during what are we watching.
Okay.
Is that an 8?
I don't know. It was 3.
No, it was 4.
4. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 4 of them. So about 4 out of 5. It was really good.
Okay. All right. Travis and Lane.
You know what? I'm going to be the fucking optimist here. Like I said, this pilot episode was honestly one of the best premiere episodes I have ever seen for any series. So I'm giving it a fucking 9.5.
Wow.
Not
much room. There's not much room to go up from there, but we'll see, Travis and Lane.
I mean, this is the first episode as it stands. Like that is my rating for that episode. I enjoyed the second episode. It's it's a solid 8, and the series we'll read the season when it finishes.
When
But
the
in
time
terms
comes,
of that first episode, goddamn, I loved it. Like
Profanity.
okay.
I mean,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it a solid 8. I thought it was a good start. We'll see where it goes from there. All right, we're gonna switch over into Marvel news next, and there was a lot of Marvel news this week. We found out about the plans for the Black Panther sequel, which got an actual name,
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda Forever. We got a first peek at footage from the Eternals, and we got. We also learned that the Captain Marvel sequel is going to be called The Marvels. Which, what do you guys think that means?
Well,
I think I agree with Russ. I think it's going to be Miss Marvel's introduction in a Captain Marvel movie.
Because don't they have a Kamala Khan series plan, right, for Disney Plus? Is that,
I believe so.
Yes. They
So
do
it'll
have.
be supposed to be sometime after this movie. I think. I don't think it's been
Yeah.
production yet.
They have. Yeah, they actually have released set photos.
Oh,
of
they have?
the costume of everything. Yeah, already, and it looks good. The costume looks great.
Yes, it does.
I think it looks better than the comic costume. Honestly,
It looks better than the video game costume. That's for damn sure.
yeah, the comic costume I always had a problem with. I just never liked it. But
Video game costume wars.
My biggest takeaway from this bit of news that's going to make me go and grab my stress cubes here shortly is that we're not going to get Guardians of the Galaxy 3 until 2023.
Hey, Thor crashed the Benatar, man. What do you want?
I can't wait that long. I need my Guardians,
Dude,
man. Like,
you know what? I love Guardians, but screw you guys. Doctor Strange is coming. That's what's
Yes.
important.
I think Doctor Strange.
You're both, I want to
Strange
see
is the premier
Spider-Man.
one.
And
I'm not the biggest Doctor Strange guy.
I have to
so-
wait 2 more years at least to see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. So
Oh no!
Well, at
No,
least we
so
know.
disheartened
not
by that
another
news.
At least we
Fantastic.
know it's coming.
All right.
What's
I'm gonna
coming
go grab my stress
first?
cubes real quick.
Multiverse of Madness or Thor: Love and Thunder?
hold on.
Thor: Love and Thunder, I think.
And aren't the Guardians going to be in Love and Thunder?
Yeah, they're going to be cameoing in each other's movies. I know Feige said that they're going to each play a role in each other's movies. Thor will be in the Guardians movie, and the Guardians will be in Thor's movie.
Thor: Love and Thunder is first. Oh, Multiverse is first.
Hmm.
Then Thor. Then Wakanda Forever. Then the Marvels.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much fun.
Then Ant-Man and the Wasp. Then Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And then Fantastic Four.
Which I hope they actually make a decent Fantastic Four, because all the other previous.
Please don't fox this movie.
Dude, Jim from The Office is going to be in this movie. It's going to be great.
Do we know that?
Yes. Have you seen him?
Do we know that?
Have you seen him as Jack Ryan? Like he's the best Jack. He's the best Jack Ryan since Alec Baldwin.
No, I don't get me wrong. I love him. I love him as an actor. Is it official?
It's as official as it'll be right now. For right now.
Okay. So not official, basically. It's basically wishful thinking right now.
Pretty
Which we're
sure.
thinking about like the final episode of Enterprise.
You're supposed to say, no, I saw it and we got this covered.
I swear to God,
No.
Matthew, don't.
I'm kind of stoked for Spider-Man as
Justin,
well.
that's a boo moment.
That was a boo moment.
It was, but
You know,
Brendan, you were saying.
yeah, this whole thing about these rumors about like old Spider-Man villains coming back and stuff from the other from the Fox universe. I'm kind of stoked about this in the new Spider-Man movie. Like Far From Home was just okay. Where I was like, it's pretty good, you know. It's a fun little movie, but that really elevated it. Even if it's just a small cameo, it's showing how much they're trying to connect this damn thing.
Well, they've already said Doc Ock's coming back.
Yeah,
for the
and
original
Electro.
reshoot.
Yeah,
so it's going to be fun to see how this plays out. I'm kind of wondering, they're going to get setting up for the multi Spider-Verse.
Dude, if they do that, just a cameo alone from Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, I think would even get anybody in that theater. It doesn't matter how bad the movie is.
Well,
If we get to see Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider, on the big screen, I'm going to lose it with glee.
You're not counting the animated version?
Well,
That don't really count.
in live action, I said.
Okay.
Didn't
version
we already see the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse? He was
Yeah,
the
not
fourth older
officially.
one, right? That was all mopey and shit.
I want to see
It's all
a live action Spider-Ham.
Oh God, I don't.
Use the
Live
CGI that
Bobby,
shit.
in the same way that Lion King was live action.
Right, that's my point. Come on, we can do it.
Hedgehog.
They did it with Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah,
Rocket Raccoon is a badass.
Yeah, he is.
he is.
And so
Dude,
Spider-Ham.
We're talking
Guys,
about.
I'm
since I
still
just got
waiting.
back
I'm
to
still
the
waiting
conversation.
I'm still waiting for the remake of Howard the Duck, but
Oh,
better.
God.
No.
But better because it's
I
now
don't think
not
it's
the 80s.
possible.
I don't think it's possible with Howard the Duck. Well, they kind of had a Howard the Duck in Guardians of the Galaxy.
There was
They
such
did
a
have-
cringe cameo scene. Jesus.
I hated that
it was
cameo.
They
Guardians of the
needed to
Galaxy.
leave that in the 80s, man. Oh my god.
Duck tits. Woo.
No,
How many people here were alive in the 80s?
Kind
Okay.
of.
Kind of.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I was born in '86, so
Oh, okay, that's
81.
alive. That's alive.
84.
Here you go. The
Oh
Gulf
God! Am I
War.
just taking notice?
Listen. The Gulf War happened as long ago today as as the Fish Under the Sea dance happened when Marty McFly first saw the DeLorean.
So that
You know,
puts you at
I do
about
the-
75,
Jason.
right, Jason?
I do this show for fun, not to get a fucking existential crisis.
So let's see.
That's
Carl's
what-
the oldest, Jason's the second oldest. I'm the third oldest, and then oh God,
And
I'm only
Can't fuck
28.
Jason.
No, you're
I was born
forgetting
in
somebody.
1993.
You're forgetting somebody, Justin.
Mm.
Sean.
Sean don't count. His ass ain't here.
Ooh.
Yeah,
You hear
but
that? You hear that, Sean? You don't count.
do you guys have any is there any thing you really want to see introduced in these movies that they haven't done before?
I'm actually looking forward, and I think Marvel has done a pretty good job about this so far, at them changing the stuff in the comics that was kind of stupid into stuff that makes sense and is interesting to watch. So I'm looking forward to them doing more of that.
I would like to see a Marvel movie all about a Southern mom coming into her powers. I shared that it's a Southern thing video with the Super Geeks in the Super Geeks group, and that's probably the only Marvel superhero movie I want to see. Is how a Southern mom learns the stare. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. No, the stare is, everybody knows the stare.
Or the middle name.
Here's your worst nightmare.
Or the middle name.
What I'm going to be actually interested in is in Phase 1 and Phase 2 of Marvel, we got kind of a teaser of Thanos. I wonder if we're going to get a teaser of who the big bad's going to be this time around, or if they're just going to be very secretive about it. Wanda's the bad guy.
It's going to be Wanda.
I don't know if you guys have touched base on this yet. Well, I went and got my stress cubes. I'm very, very curious how they will handle Black Panther 2 without Chad
Black Panther?
Bowie. Yeah, I mean, he was the Black Panther, And
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly, I think they're widening the focus to Wakanda.
yeah,
So, and it'll be, I think, more of an ensemble piece. I mean, they're going to need to find another Black Panther. And we don't know how yet exactly, or even how they're going to deal with Chadwick Boseman's.
They could just keep Black Panther in his costume the whole time.
I will
Sense.
say this. I do hope that they do not do what they kind of did in Star Wars Rogue One and CGI faces. I just I don't see it as a disrespect to the actors by any means, but I mean, I just feel like doing that, if we were going to CGI Chad Bodwick's face here, I just feel like it.
Take the time and care to do it fucking properly.
Yeah.
I
we don't know if they asked him if that's what he would want. I mean, we don't know. We don't know the details behind with any of that.
Disney's done it 3 times now in the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah,
and only once has it been remotely passable, and that was Tarkin in Rogue One.
Luke Skywalker.
No,
I don't know.
Luke
Tarkin
Skywalker
was pretty
Mandalorian.
bad.
Luke Skywalker Mandalorian was better.
Well, the one benefit that they got with Chadwick Boseman not being there is now they're opening up the multiverse. They can now make explanations for why certain characters are tagging out and some are tagging in. And I don't think that that's kind of the easy way of cheesing around it. I know that sounds a bad way to say that, but when they're like, look, we're not going to replace them, they don't have to replace them. They just need a fill-in from the multiverse.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Black Panther is a title, not a person. Yeah. So someone can come along. It's really a question of how they're going to handle the current Black Panther's loss.
Yeah,
we know they're going to do that because they've said as much this week. We just don't know, the circumstances around that.
Mm-hmm.
And to be completely honest, they owe it to Chadwick Boseman to give him a proper send-off, right? To give him a character.
But I don't think anyone would disagree with that. The question is, how do you define proper? One person's proper is another person's disrespectful.
I mean, honestly, as this might be kind of an unpopular opinion, I would, if they're going to do, a proper send-off or something like this posthumous, I mean, I would hope that they might, I'm going to sound very biased here, admittedly, but I mean, doing something along the lines of what they did for Spock in Star Trek Beyond would be satisfactory. They handled Leonard Nimoy's passing with it was very somber, and it was very subtle, and it was very graceful. I mean, if they were to do something I'm not saying do exactly what Star Trek Beyond did, but if they were to do if they were to handle it with that same grace and subtlety, it would give I believe the closure would be it would be great. That would be a good way to honor the actor, honor what he contributed to this franchise, and continue on the journey, remembering the good times while looking forward to the new,
Yeah, I did a rewatch of Civil War this past week, and because it's referenced so much in recent Marvel stuff, and I hadn't seen it since it came out in theaters, so gave it another watch, and I was super impressed with the Black Panther, his portrayal in that film. Chadwick Boseman was he just oozes regal. He just he brought a real sense to that character from the beginning. That by the time we get to Endgame, and everyone's coming back through the portals, and he's chanting the battle cry in Wakanda, and it gave me chills, and I don't even know what he was saying. but he's that good an actor. It worked.
Oh, I mean, aside from the bad CGI in the Black Panther movie, like that movie is stellar.
Yeah,
Like it's
great.
fun to watch. He's a great actor. That whole movie, just from the costumes to the music to the set to all the actors and actresses, there's really not a bad person in that film if you watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
And it's going to be really hard to do an ensemble film. I was in the camp that was like, look, I just don't think they should touch it at all, to be honest.
No, they have
should've-
to. They have
but I know that the money's there and it's already invested. I'm just saying, like, my personal opinion is it's a lot to live up to, and it's never going to be enough, kind of thing.
Well, but that's why switching the focus away from him is the way to go. Because if you look carefully at what they've been doing with the other sort of supporting players from Wakanda, they've been growing in stature. And I mean, we saw it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You're going to see more of them and them tackling problems as a nation rather than through just the lens of the Black Panther. And I think that's a good direction.
Carlos, it just hit me when you said that, actually, thinking of it systemically and how their society works. What would be really great about this movie is get a bunch of people competing for that title.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have the
fight.
fight,
is a good idea, yeah.
Because they have that big like fight set up every time someone's trying to reach for that crown. And I think that if you did it like that, you get to know these people that are getting involved and what the personal stakes are for it. I think that'd be kind of cool.
But you got to remember, even in the first Wakanda movie, Wakanda isn't one nation. It's several tribes in a nation.
True.
Absolutely.
So they absolutely would be warring for power.
Yeah. No, I think that actually makes a lot of sense dramatically. That's a good point. Excellent.
Hey, Jason,
Controlled
I think we got the
like
same back
Klingons
scratcher.
and rabid tribes.
Wait, say that again, Ross?
What was that?
Ross, can you say that again?
It'd be a more controlled kind of competition. Right?
Yeah.
It would be a more controlled conflict, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it has a framework. It's not just out and out war. It's, Okay. Great. So who got to take a peek at the Eternals footage that came out?
I did.
What'd you think?
Honestly, I went from not interested at all. See, the way they sold the premise, it would just seem completely uninteresting. I didn't care. But when I saw that footage, I was like, okay, this is something I'm into. Looks fascinating. And the characters look all like really nicely designed. The powers look really awesome. Like the ones that they showcase in the footage that they showed. I'm curious to see what they do with it.
Yeah, me too.
Marvel has a good way of, like, when they bomb on an interview or something, man, they know how to put together a trailer. Like, they really do. That's one thing that they're good at.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish, Raina.
Oh, no, I was going to say the one thing that I think it was really explained poorly to everyone, what the movie was about. I think it was explained terribly. They're like, when they came out the first time and said, this is what it's going to be about, everyone was like, who cares? You just came off of Endgame. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's kind of like the marketing for Death Stranding almost.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's deceptive. And then when you see the footage, you're like, okay, this looks more interesting than what this boring spokesperson was saying this movie was going to be about.
Yeah, because I've never been a fan of the Eternals in the comics. I just didn't find them very appealing or interesting, and so I thought the concept for the movie sounded like more of the same. But like you, yeah, and as I said earlier, I really like what Marvel Studios has done in improving and changing some of the concepts and premises from the comics and translating them to their cinematic universe. And I'm hopeful now, after seeing this early footage and knowing about the director, that this is it'll work.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping too. And with the I've always found the Eternals boring, so hopefully that they do something rewritten that's interesting. I mean, that's just my personal take, but I get so bored. Like listening to drone on, like they were like really excited about this project, and I felt really bad because it was like one of the cynical ones, like, oh, this sounds awful. But I don't know, and honestly, it doesn't look like a bad group of characters either. I mean, we don't really get a whole lot from the teaser footage we get, but they definitely look like it's a big enough group that we're gonna have some diversity, which is always nice in character setups. So I'm excited to see what they go with it.
Well, and we're talking about a director who brings a very specific kind of sensibility to her work, and I like it. So I have a lot of faith in her translating
Favorite
that.
person is here, Carlos.
My favorite person.
The cat.
Oh, there. Yes, indeed. Sorry, I thought you meant like in the chat. I was looking in the comments and like no one's commented yet. So, all right. Hello, cat. The cat's going to upstage you any second now, by the way, Justin. So just be prepared. Okay, let's move on to a different Marvel topic. And this was news that it looks like Marvel is dropping some strong hints that it is going to erase Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. From the Marvel canon, along with possibly some of the other Marvel TV universe shows that we saw that weren't created directly by Marvel. And the move was, we saw internationally that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was removed from the Marvel lineup in online in those other countries. Hasn't happened here yet, but it was a very noticeable thing. And you all know my feelings. I thought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were dumb, so I'm like, cool.
Oh no, they're going to tragedy.
Yeah, so
I mean, I thought it was a stupid show, and I was surprised it lasted as long as it did. It could have been its own thing without being labeled Marvel. But
I thought its greatest strength was that it was labeled Marvel, and if it just had been integrated better, I think it would have been a lot better. But they kept it too separate. So, what do we think about this news? Should it be decanonized or
Legends in?
Well, it was decanonized after Infinity War. Because the impacts of Infinity War, the snap weren't seen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, how can it stay canon then at that point? Like, it was contradicting the main continuity.
Well, didn't it all happen before Infinity War?
No, there was another season after Infinity War where and the snap.
Well, in our universe, but in their timeline, was it after?
The problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as I'm sure some of you already know, is that the canon only went one way. Events in the Marvel Cinematic Universe affected it, but nothing in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. affected the MCU. They had a whole outbreak of Inhumans. The Asgardians visited every now and again. You had Hydra being reborn once or twice every season. And all sorts of wacky adventures that would have been fun to see reflected in the MCU. But because they were developed by two different studios and Feige had no control over what was going on in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it ended up not mattering.
Yeah, and it feels that way.
And it's a shame. Because Agent Coulson was so many people's favorite thing.
His ride is...
And
dope.
having him back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was always so much fun. He was such a great character. And they brought in so many great characters from across the MCU. Sky's transition into Daisy and eventually Quake was excellent. And I would have loved to see more of the Inhumans in the MCU, aside from the one aborted
they had
movie
Ghost Rider
/ show that was just... Yeah, and Ghost Rider! They introduced the Darkhold before it showed up in WandaVision.
I don't know if you guys knew this. I didn't know this, and I'm a complete Marvel fangirl. I was going through Disney Plus. There was a Peggy Carter show. That was a thing?
Yeah,
it was a thing. Agent Carter.
Yeah,
See,
and it was great.
I was like, looking,
it was a good show.
I was like, I didn't even know this thing existed.
So there's a funny story about that here on the show. Like before they even like announced the name of the show, they had this like teaser poster of Peggy. And for the whole time, because my dumbass was raised on a completely different show, I thought that this was some kind of Disney precursor Carmen Sandiego show.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah, no, it was great. It had Howard Stark in it, the original Jarvis. They made appearances from time to time. It was a good show.
So is that part of decanonization too, or
Yes.
was it never
It is. It is theoretically also part of the decanonization.
Well, I guess I won't be watching that then. So
Do give it a watch. It's a good show. It's a good one.
never
No.
saw any of these
And
shows.
our and the other part of the decanonization is our favorite captain, or the man who played our favorite captain. His Marvel show was decanonized too, Anson Mount in Inhumans.
Oh, right. Yeah. Didn't say a damn word though. Sorry.
Whoa. Whoa.
yeah, but you know what? They're doubling down on their own shows. Like their shows are worth the watch value, and now we got Loki coming out here in what, July? I think they said we had a teaser for that June.
June
yeah.
8th.
And
2 days before my birthday.
I just feel like there's absolutely no point to go back and watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I would go watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier a second time. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, because it's actually setting up something for the universe. You know,
Man,
Agents of
that's
S.H.I.E.L.D.
not
didn't.
waiting
It
for
was
it.
like
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I liked the first season with the little ins and outs, the little nods, but then it became really annoying that nothing ever stuck. Like it just never solidified anything.
Well, the problem is that the people who were running the films weren't the same people running the television shows, and it's much harder to,
well, that was a choice.
But-
It's like they're all owned by the same company. They could have. They chose not to.
No, but I mean, you also got to realize coordinating a multi-billion-dollar feature around a television show and what's going on in the television show is a lot harder than having the television show be impacted by the features.
Hey, you guys don't know. They could be bringing it back for the Snyder Cut. You don't know. I think you're making judgments about it. You don't know.
It's a lot easier when there's actually coordination between the two studios.
And that, to be completely honest, this is one of the things I have the most fear about with bringing back Star Trek feature films, is that there's going to be the temptation to not coordinate the features as part of the larger Star Trek universe that is being built by Kurtzman and.
But there's zero chance of that because the studio is now owned by the people making the TV shows.
No,
Yeah,
there's every chance because the same was true with ABC and Marvel and Disney. They're all owned by the same company, and
But
we
TV
still had that problem.
Yeah. I mean, they could look at it like this. The movies and the TVs are supposed to be separate, but I'm really hoping they actually incorporate it all into one thing.
Well,
And that's-
here's where the upside.
Well, there's actually
which didn't
incentive to make
exist
sure
before.
everything ties together now.
Yeah, Disney Plus. Disney Plus is the place.
I'm talking about
is
Star
the
Trek.
crossroads. Oh, sorry. Well, I mean,
There
Right,
was
but-
no incentive to have any kind of connected tissue.
But in this case, the franchise thrives on television. Like it's almost like the inverse of Marvel, where the Marvel thrives in cinema, and the television tends to be more supplementary.
Mm-hmm.
In Star Trek, it thrives more on television, whereas the features tend to be more supplementary.
I'm not sure if I would say supplementary. They count more. They just they were just disconnected.
They are a
But-
different adventure.
Yeah, but returning to the point of Marvel, I think you're likely to see a lot more like importance in terms of crossover concepts, storylines now than before, because everything is focused on Disney Plus now. All the synergy between these movies and TV shows are all focused on ultimately what is going to be all on Disney Plus. Before, a lot of producers, they were hesitant about making them too reliant on each other because, if I have to watch this before I watch this, then how am I going to do that? And now they will be able to, because it's all there, will all be there on Disney Plus. And there'll be plenty of time between features for people to do whatever catch up they need to do.
But one of the things Feige said, or was it this week or last week, was that you weren't going to have to watch the series to know what's going on in the features.
Well, sure.
Broad strokes can be easily summarized.
Yeah, they can. I mean, that's one of the things I have to say about Bad Batch that I liked, was not having finished Clone Wars. I was a little hesitant about just sort of jumping in with Bad Batch, and I thought, well, we're going to talk about it, so I better watch it. And I felt, there's history there that they refer to, but I didn't feel lost at all in watching it. So it can be done. It's a challenge in writing. I don't see why it can't be overcome.
Yeah, but you know what? You could easily summarize that with just a quick recap before the movie starts of those
previously on WandaVision.
Basically,
which is exactly what they did.
But you know what? I think this also goes hand in hand with another topic I noticed someone talking about, that Feige was hinting at, that there was plenty of mistakes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe time-wise. Like, they accidentally said dates and put people where they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I guess in Disney Plus, in those versions, they're correcting all those.
Oh, really?
So you will not see them. Like the date in Spider-Man, that is wrong after the blip. They're going to correct that. And then they were saying Sharon Carter's appearance on the missing screen in Endgame is going to be taken out now, because she couldn't have been in Madripoor at the same time if she was blipped. So they're like taking little corrections like that they messed up on. And he was saying that there's a lot of stuff that slips through the cracks during the writing process that they don't catch it until afterwards.
Yeah.
So they're gonna scrub those things on Disney Plus. I'm thinking, wow, that is like really like just squeegeeing out a date or something. Is gonna be really hilarious to watch.
Honestly,
We have George Lucas to thank for that.
I really wish that studios wouldn't do that. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to say that I don't respect a little consistency when it comes to little details like that, but I think keeping those little mistakes in the film, it kind of it's just that brief reminder that these things are made by human beings, and it's the flaws that can ironically make us respect these things a little bit more than we realize. And it's unfortunate, that George Lucas editing like this has kind of it's becoming more commonplace. And
it's not even that. Does anybody remember the mass, I would call it censoring hysteria of Hollywood after 9/11, where they had to scrub the Twin Towers out of every fucking movie?
Huh?
Does nobody remember that?
I know it happened a little
they
bit,
did
but
that
there's
with
plenty of
Spider-Man.
movies that still have them in it.
No, they did that in Deus Ex, I think.
Right.
The game.
That's right. That's and part of that is because part of that is because the people literally said, "What the hell are you doing? Those are iconic. Those are part of who we are. Stop." And basically Hollywood went, "Okay, we'll stop."
I don't think it bears any difference. Oh, I can't see a half second of someone's picture on the missing screen. I don't get to see a date pop up. Like, it's small things that I think it's going to cost more money to fix than if you just left it and just say, "Hey, look, guys, this is a mistake." Just put a subtitle on the bottom of the screen that says, "Hey, this date's wrong."
Well, I think the more powerful thing is why would Sharon Carter be a mistake? She went underground.
Yeah, that's totally retconnable without.
She went to ground. So why would you have to write that? Like, Why would
They
you
might have
correct on that?
assumed she was blipped, and she actually wasn't.
All I know is they were saying that she was not blipped, but it was stated in there, which I don't exactly. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, though, where they don't just use that explanation. Things like that. It's going to be more expensive to fix those things in the long run than it is to just say, "Hey, it's not correct." Like, you could use an actual argument like that, and it works for the context of what's going on.
Well, okay, so I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian here on this point, because you have to think about what Marvel is attempting to do here. They're building attempting to build this very coherent, cohesive cinematic universe. There's a reason why they call it that. And in a world where, these movies come out every 2 years, so there's like time and distance between when you see one and you see another, those kinds of mistakes are things that you can let go. But now we have Disney Plus. People can now binge these things, and those mistakes become a lot more apparent. So you have to think of it as an investment, not in fixing any particular thing in any particular Marvel movie, and more as an investment in creating a coherent cinematic universe that stands up to repeated watching and end-to-end watching by many people, because in future years, in future decades, that's how people are going to watch it.
Well, I will argue, actually, that because we have the established reference that those are already made mistakes, we don't need to correct them, because it's on the record that they were mistakes. Now, any future
depends
mistake,
on what you consider the record. If you're a kid who's, say, in middle school when these movies came out, and they don't watch it until they're in their 20s, the fact that it was on the record when they were in middle school changes nothing for them.
Yeah, but the thing is that the mistakes that they've already made are like bare minimum mistakes. They don't affect the flow of the cinematic universe at all. It's little dates and times that are wrong, but the events are still happening.
Sure.
That's my thing is the old stuff is fine because we know that it can be easily researched. It's something like that. I think they need to focus less on old mistakes and focus more on don't make this happen, because if it starts becoming a reoccurring thing, then it's going to be a nightmare.
Well, except it is a reoccurring thing. As Travis pointed out, these things are made by human beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
does anybody remember the Starbucks
here's
stuff
the
in
thing.
Game of Thrones?
Here's the thing. Fan culture today, especially with Marvel movies and other genre pieces, people nitpick these things to the nth degree. They're looking for all the little details that people put in to try and theory craft and predict and analyze and everything else. So these kinds of little details, these mistakes, have become so much more important than they were in the past, because it all ties into the story that they're telling.
I think that, and you know what? Just take my opinion with a grain of salt on this, because I look at it as maybe because it doesn't affect my movie experience. Hell, I didn't even notice these mistakes until a YouTuber or someone else had pointed them out. Like when I went to see Spider-Man, I wasn't like keeping in my head, no, this is impossible. The date that this happened was at approximately 3 a.m. on May 5th. I wasn't thinking like that. It was like, okay, yeah. All right.
You weren't thinking like that.
You're setting up a time.
Jason was when he was watching the fucking Picard trailer.
There you go.
I just, but I mean, if it's not going to cost a lot of time and money to correct it, then go for it. I just think, like, don't waste your resources on it, though, unless, I don't know, like, Susie in Marvel Studio 3's got a break on a Wednesday. Just let her go and go through and fix some of that stuff. But if it's going to just take so much time, why even bother at this point if it's already solidified where it's at and people have already talked about it in the depth?
Because you have to look in the future, Raina. That's the whole point of having Disney Plus, is for all of these movies to be in one place, so that people who are much younger than any of us right now, when they encounter them, those things will be a lot more obvious to them if they're not fixed, because they're going to be seeing them in rapid succession, which is not the way we experience them.
Right.
If they even remember details like that.
I did.
They will if you watched it yesterday, and the mistake yesterday in one Marvel movie, and you see it contradicted tomorrow when you watch the next one, as opposed to 2 or 3 or 4 years in between, the way we experience them.
Yeah, or you watch one and then you go to watch the other, and there's the conflict like just an hour later. You know.
I was just going to say the one benefit they have is they seem to be that this is something they are actively working on. So, I mean, if obviously it's a big enough deal for them to do it. I was just saying, from my personal perspective, I don't get it. But when you explain it like that, if someone's going to binge it, I guess. And the fact that they're only doing it on Disney Plus and they're not correcting future Blu-rays or DVDs, maybe, it makes sense because it's in a bingeable format on Disney Plus.
I just hope they don't fix Sharon Carter, because I think that one makes sense, that they would expect her to be missing. I mean, I think there are ones that you don't need to fix, right? Yeah. I think an unreliable narrator is a very powerful very powerful storytelling mechanism, and I think having that like people missing, well, you're just assuming they were gone the blip because you didn't see them. You really don't know if they've been blipped or not.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point.
That is our 10-minute warning, folks.
Okay.
We're already almost 2 hours in.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. And now we're going into Star Trek land for the week. So there's 2 parts of this. One part which is news, and another part which was news about a month ago, and I missed it. And I don't recall anyone else mentioning it, but this is about Star Trek Picard. We know that that Guinan is going to be in season 2. We know that Q is going to be in season 2, and we're making bets on whether or not they're going to come into conflict again and possibly explain, not only more about why and how they know each other, but also why Q was afraid of Guinan in that memorable TNG episode where she puts her hands up like she's going to do something. What's that?
I mentioned this.
No, that's not the part I'm talking about. The part I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I mentioned that, like, in this new season, because both are back, it should explore why the hell they hate each other so much.
Yeah. That's not the point I'm making about what I didn't know, and that was the second half of this, which is Akiva Goldsman said in an interview back in April that Picard becoming a synth is not going to be a big deal in season 2. It's like that basically it was a plot device to get over the fact that he was going to be dying of aromatic syndrome, and it's not going to be a major
bullshit. No,
Akiva Goldsman said this, you guys.
No.
They've
the
thrown
guy.
us off before. They've thrown us off before.
God.
No, Akiva Goldsman does not out and out lie. That would be an out and out lie.
No.
He's not J.J. Abrams, you guys. But
then he just fucking idiot in that route.
I am so disappointed hearing that.
Tell us more about your disappointment.
It feels like they are like
my disappointment is measurable, and my day is ruined.
No, I am just. This is going to be a very like dramatic comparison here, but this feels like a goddamn Voyager reset button.
Well, no, it doesn't.
I was really hoping that they would explore more of this, explore more of Picard in this synthetic body. And I'm not saying that they won't, but hearing that it's not going to be a big deal just feels like it's
a wasted dramatic opportunity.
It really
is what it is.
Really is.
Who's the source of the article? Just out
Akiva
of curiosity.
Goldsman is the source of the art. It's from an interview, dude.
Which interview?
I don't know. You can look it up. It's on the Trello. It's in CBR.
That does seem like a really big wasted opportunity to me.
Well,
keep in mind, he is the guy who brought us
'Cause
Bat
that-
Nipples and Batman and Robin. So
Why did you bring
that
up
was
that
Joel Schumacher.
monstrosity?
yeah, that was
no, it
Joel
was Akiva
Schumacher.
Goldsman wrote.
No, that was Joel Schumacher. He's the one who produced it. I'm sure if Akiva Goldsman wrote it, he didn't write in, and they have bat nipples. That's not the kind of thing you put in a
And
script.
badasses.
But yes, that does. I'm sorry, but that does kind of dampen my enthusiasm for season 2.
Well, okay, I'm going to play contrarian here as well. If they make the stuff that's happening in season 2 sufficiently weighty, I'm okay with it. I mean, I do think it's a wasted opportunity, particularly given the fact they are bringing Q back, and it's the kind of thing Q would
Make fun of him about.
well,
absolutely.
force Picard to come to terms with it.
I
But,
could totally see a plot device him having to come to terms
But
with it. I mean,
that doesn't mean that it isn't. So he's saying it's not a major part of the plot, but that doesn't mean that it's not part of the story. That doesn't mean it's not part of, like, obviously he's now a synth. Obviously there will be, I mean, I'm going to take a wait and see approach, because what I would hate for season 2 Picard just to be an entire existential crisis.
Yeah, I get that.
That would be very boring for me.
because, you're going to come to terms like with people like Kynan, who's going to know something is different about Picard, and Q of all people. Q's not going to not mention it.
I gotta give a small apology to Raina here, because we are totally talking some major spoilers for further down the Star Trek journey line.
Oh, you guys are fine. I probably won't remember it by then, so.
Well,
But I'm so far behind, it's going to take me years, so you are good, buddy. You got a 2 or 3 year head start.
We are
before
talking
I
about
catch
things.
up.
Yeah, we are talking about things that happened a year ago. So
I would like to point out that upon reading this article from CBR, it does not link back to any source, nor actually quote him.
It does. The issue is that it is not in the story that is linked in the Trello. It was in a story. You know how they have the little sidebar things of related stories?
That's what I'm saying. I'm reading the related article about it. There is no direct quote in it.
Well, CBR is a pretty reliable source, and I thought I did read a quote, but so I don't have it in front of me, so I can't.
yeah, CBR is owned by Viacom, so
Yeah. So so it's not like we're talking about an unreliable, website here.
I'm just saying, I'm taking it with a grain of salt because there's no link to the source.
Yeah, but CBR
that thing that was pounded into me constantly in school when I was writing articles and essays and shit.
yeah.
Well, I think the source, CBR, is the source. Like, it was an interview they did with Akiva Goldsman. So it's the primary source. There would be no link to another source if the interview was a CBR interview.
I don't see how
But it doesn't say that CBR did an interview.
This is
It
a
literally
dramatic
says-
change in.
Go ahead, Ross.
This is a dramatic change in the character's existence. His entire worldview, his entire state of being is completely new and unprecedented in all of Star Trek. The closest thing we've ever seen to what Picard is now is Dr. Ira Graves when he transferred himself into Data and then transferred himself into a computer and lost his soul. There was an episode of TOS that ended badly as well, but still, this is ripe territory for drama and the exploration of the human condition and what makes us who we are, and exactly the kind of stories that Star Trek was meant to tell. And to hear that it's not going to be central to the plot baffles me.
I mean, you
It's
had
a
Riker.
huge wasted opportunity.
You had Riker with Troy being impact. He won't be able to read Picard's mind now. So that's going to come into play. You have
If she even
Guinan
shows
who
up in
reads
the
people.
season.
Well, that's been iffy, but we'll see. She's not even in the country anymore. So,
That's my take.
Okay, yeah, I did find the article, and it does specifically refer to a source, which was James Hibbert of The Hollywood Reporter asking Goldsman, will Picard's new body impact his character in season 2, or does it just not? And Goldsman replies, and there's a direct quote, it doesn't. We did fundamentally try to address that at the end of episode 10. He's not Super Picard. We reset this congenital problem he lived with since Next Gen and gave him the opportunity for rebirth, but it's nothing more than a record as he might have been were he not here.
Oh, jeez. I just.
Well, Picard just lost me.
Well, I don't know.
Honestly, Picard just lost me. Period.
Well,
Period.
it is a missed opportunity, and
we don't even know if
it's
this
an
went back
opportunity
yet.
I'm not going to be. It's an opportunity I'm not going to be tuning in for.
well, I don't know. Star Trek has done this kind of thing many times where they wasted opportunities, but found ways to create really good stories still that kept people,
Let's see what
It
Sticking
better
with them.
blow me off my damn feet, otherwise it's lost me as well.
Well, we will see. We will see.
Yeah, because season 1 was a test
took
run
us-
for us.
It took me 3 seasons of Discovery to actually go, okay, finally, maybe we can have something good in the next season. And
you're
now that
you're
we're
a hard woman to please.
and now that we have a series that could potentially expound upon transhumanism and everything that Ross just described, and they're not going to fucking do it.
It was such a no-brainer for me at the end of the last season when I went into all of the possible transhuman elements of evolving beyond the physical form, and just it practically writes itself, and they're just writing it off as a non-fucking issue.
We've spent so many episodes. We've spent so many episodes of Star Trek and every other sci-fi of it being the opposite, that the AI evolves into something more. And now you have the human becoming the AI.
It just says to me that they can't be that stupid. I mean, I'm sorry, they've got to have something up their sleeve. I'm going to give it a chance, but if they don't wow me this season, that's going to be it. That's gonna be it.
Admittedly, when it comes to Picard, it is the show that it's the new show that I give the most critical approach to. While I enjoyed it while it was airing, I still like characters like Eleanor, and I really like what they do with a lot of the show. The more I reflect on it, the more I talk with my dad about it, and just going back and forth on our little Star Trek talks, the more I realize that there was a lot of missed opportunity and just a lot of stuff that just kind of felt mishandled in this debut season. Dad put it best. He straight up said that the finale of Picard really should have ended as Picard walks out of Data's dream, and in this, you mean I have to go back? And yes, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen there, but it's a draw to get us back into the second season. And he very much kind of looked at it as, in a way, just there was just far too many getting the band back together moments in this debut season, rather than fleshing out the story that really should have been front and center at times. And I can see where he's coming from in a lot of this area. And like, I really want this show to be great, because I remember just how fantastic, how phenomenal it started. Like, when the pilot dropped, you guys may have remembered me saying that this show has the potential to be as great as DS9. And that motivation has gone downhill. Like, this show, like, I'm not saying it isn't good, but it's not great yet. And I mean, that might be a bit of a hot take, because I know a lot of Trekkies regard Picard as the strongest of the new shows right now. But it's so, like, in terms of the three, it's at the bottom for me right now. And I'm really pulling for it to do better. Like, right now, it's...
Well, I'm going to rise in defense here a little bit for that first season. While I agree with you with a lot of what you said, I feel like the resolution with the AI thing was a little too pat. Going the direction of the AI thing was so similar to what we'd seen in season 2 of Discovery that, it just felt a little repetitious. But I think dramatically, this show broke some new ground in terms of the kinds of issues it dealt with, the kinds of characters it introduced, and the issues they had to deal with. It sits above a lot of other Star Trek.
Well, we both had issues with the finale. One, they crashed and Borg cubed their freaking planet, and it didn't automatically kill everybody on the surface on impact.
That's irrelevant to.
Yeah, but the sort of dropping the XBs, that's a missed opportunity. Because they invested so much dramatically into these XBs.
At least
killing off Hugh. Oh my God, was such a mistake in my opinion. But even from a broader perspective, just sort of, okay, this is the end of the XB story. And it's like, no, you had so much potential there that you're just going to like move on to something else. I mean, we don't know if they're not going to include the XBs, but it feels like.
Well, we did see that picture of Picard with an XB behind the scenes for season 2.
No, that wasn't an XB. That was a synth.
Look.
It was a synth. Same kind of synth we saw on Mars.
Mm-hmm. And understand that the entire theme of the second season, like, does it fit? Is it the story? Like I get that we want to explore transhumanism, but if that's not the story the writers want to tell, then let the writer tell that's the story they want to tell, and then let that be whether or not the story is good, not because your expectations weren't met. My mistake. Fair. My mistake.
That is fair. I think that's very fair.
Yeah, my mistake with The Last Jedi, not the Last Jedi. Last Jedi was that I expected a different story, and it didn't deliver, and it sullied my view of that movie, and it shouldn't have, because it was a great film.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna judge the season on its own merits.
Yeah,
but one of the things that I'm going to judge it on is the story that they are telling me something that is superior to the potential story that exploring the transhumanism would have, offered you.
Right.
And, if it does deliver on that, then great. That's fine. But if it doesn't, then I'm going to be like, why did you go in that direction when you had set yourself up for a much better direction at the end of season 1?
I really don't care what they do. We're getting Q, so.
See, that's exactly why I do care.
We're getting Q and Guinan.
Yeah. As long as we don't have to deal with Worf.
Or a Candle Ghost.
I'm telling you, if we get Worf back, he has to be in Lower Decks.
I'm totally put him in Lower Decks.
I would totally go for that.
Totally fine with him being in Lower Decks.
If not Worf, at least the actor, voice acting somebody like they do with J.G. Hertzler.
I don't want to see Worf. just because of Michael Dorn's obsession with the Captain Worf show. I don't ever want to see Worf again.
I totally
I
agree.
wanna see-
He's left
I
such a
wanna
bad
see-
taste in my mouth.
I want to see Michael Dorn, but as another captain other than Worf, because they won't let him be Worf, but they'll let him.
No,
be
I don't want to see
something
Michael
else.
Dorn at all. If we're going to see Worf, he needs
Yeah.
to be recast.
That's what he was just saying.
They're not going to recast Michael Dorn. They're
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. We're not going to recast Michael Dorn, but I mean, they could put him in as another character.
No, I don't want to see
Especially
Michael
voice
Dorn.
acting.
No, why? If they're going to put
And
him
Lord
in,
Ned.
why not putting him in as Worf? Like that's kind of the point.
All right.
Well, they put J.T.
Michael
Hertzler
Dorn
in as a
has
different
been
character.
2 different Worfs at this point. He was Worf the lawyer, and then Worf from TNG.
Right. He was his own ancestor.
He was his own
Shit.
grandfather.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was his own grandfather's cousin's uncle.
All right. Okay. Well, that is going to be our Trek news. We have one topic I want to cover before we wind up the show, and that is Ross. I assume this came from you, the Epic Games versus Apple lawsuit.
No,
And-
that was me.
That was you. Okay,
And
great. I think
posted,
that's,
posted just minutes before you started fiddling with the card.
what did I do with it in the card? Oh, I just shortened the. I added a graphic and shortened the headline. Because it has to fit on 2 lines. Anyway, so yes, Son, why don't you lead us off on this one? Because I think this is pretty big news.
Okay, so you know how gamers are. We're just like fandoms. We nitpick over our games. We find the most
Right.
optical routes. We find what's meta to just slaughter everything in a game. Well, this also applies to gamers who want information on their game with data miners, all that kind of stuff. And so you have a gaming industry who's become almost as secretive about their behind the scenes information as just about anything else. And so with Epic Games suing Apple, you kind of had a court that didn't realize this or know how to handle this. So you had a bunch of gamers who had been following this lawsuit proceeding, and suddenly they find a folder which, on the different days of the trial, suddenly Epic Game Store documents keep getting shoved into, and here they are just taking the documents out and sharing them online. And these are documents from emails from Tim Cook to the CEO of Ubisoft, apologizing over basically people stealing Ubisoft games from the Epic Game Store, which who would have figured that, to their sales data projections, or not really projections, more like totals from them having bought out games to give away for free. And this is not, I mean, it's not necessarily that this is data that would in any singular instance would hurt a company, but this is data that if were released would change the way other companies do business with Epic Games. A lot of it.
So the issue here was that these documents were in a public folder that people who were not the intended readers of those documents were able to get into.
Right.
Womp, womp.
So even at this point, both the court and Epic themselves have been scrambling to try and redact a whole bunch of information from the documents.
This sounds strangely familiar.
It does sound strangely familiar to what we saw in the famous Axonar lawsuit as well.
But this also shows it shows kind of this back end of the gaming industry, because they're so secretive with this information. Like, if Steam is ever in a lawsuit, Steam would never put itself in the position to have its numbers for game titles and stuff leaked like this. They would absolutely make sure it was like this. And look, I'll be the first to say, the guy who's the CEO of Epic Games, He doesn't know how to invest the money he has from Fortnite. He doesn't know how to burn the money he has from Fortnite. This dude is incompetent as shit. Like,
Well, it certainly makes it look that way.
yeah. I mean, if you want to unify your art and marketing assets for your company, right? You normally create and hire an artist division, right? Dude literally bought an art platform in ArtStation. Like, what sense does that even make? Like, I mean, his entire lawsuit is based on the fact that I don't like the fact that Apple built their own shit and is selling my stuff on their shit. It's not fair. It's a monopoly. That's the lawsuit. This guy's incompetent as fuck. And the whole time he's going, I'm the champion of the people. Ah! And yeah, it sounds a lot like Alec fucking Peters, doesn't it?
When they launched the lawsuit, they did a parody ad of the Big Brother Apple commercial.
Right. From the 1984 ad.
Yeah. They wanted to do this huge that the Apple's the big bad now. They've become what they've fought against, which is true, but still.
But they're not, though.
They're not. It's not the same.
Listen,
I'm.
What's that?
You cannot beat us.
Oh. I'm going to be, in all fairness, iPhone. This is a MacBook Pro. I've got my Magic Keyboard. I've got my Magic Mouse. I've got my AirPods. I've got my.
Do you though?
And,
I thought they were taken away.
No, they were.
Yet, and see, that's the thing. You chose to buy into that. That's fine.
Right. I bought the ecosystem. That's why I want Apple. I want the walled garden. I want the ecosystem where everything works. I spent way too much time trying to make my Palm Pilot work with my PC, work with my scanner, work with my printer. I'm done with that. What I want is I want it just to work, and Apple's done that. And what Fortnite's trying to, what Epic Games is trying to do is they're trying to take away the sanity of my walled garden in the world of tech. And me and my kid, we butt heads about this all the time. We go back and forth, and because he's a big Fortnite person, and he's mad that he can't play Fortnite on the iPad or his phone or whatever. And I'm like, dude, like Apple's trying to create an experience that works all the time, and you don't have these issues where things aren't compatible or things don't work well, because that decreases your experience. If you don't want that, that's fine. Go to Android. Don't piss on my walled garden.
But see, here's the thing that's even worse about it. The guy doesn't realize that him bringing this lawsuit impacts him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for all of the shit that he's going after Apple about over having a monopoly, dude literally owns a launcher where he's buying other people's shit for exclusivity. How is that not the same kind of monopoly he's complaining about?
Temporary exclusivity.
Yeah, but it's still exclusivity.
Justin, knock it off.
That's literally his argument.
Well,
I sit through boring shit that you guys talk about all the time. You can suck this up. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in this lawsuit again because I'm an Apple person. I've been an Apple person since they switched to Intel back in 2006. My kid loves Fortnite, and so this is very much part of the conversations that him and I have every single day about Fortnite and why I think what they're doing is crap. Because again, what they're trying to do is, you know what? If I want to live in communist Apple land where everything is uniform, that should be my choice.
Mm-hmm. And see, this even just the lawsuit being at the point that it's at right now has already started another chain lawsuit because someone is actually suing Sony over the same shit.
Yeah, I don't think this ends well for Fortnite. for Epic.
With these leaks, no.
Well,
No.
I think one of the funniest things from these leaks is how other games and game companies are going to treat Epic Games because of the freebies, the freebies that the Epic has been doing. We had the leak that came out was like, I think, the first 9 months of freebies. And one of the games that was given away was For Honor. And to buy out all of the, just to buy out For Honor for them to give away free was, it cost Epic Games $63,000. You know how much they turned a profit giving out the game and getting new people signed up into Epic? Over $4 million. Yeah. I think a lot of game companies are going to take a second look at what they're offering to Epic and go, yeah, no, we're going to want this much at start because this is what you've been making off of the different games.
Yeah, now that you put it like that, yeah, Epic really kind of shot themselves in the foot not being more careful with their data.
But see, here's the thing. I don't even think that that this falls solely on Epic, and it doesn't really fall solely on Epic at this point.
Well, it's the court, right?
It was also the court in this, because the court said, "Here's this folder, put the stuff in it," and yet it was accessible by a whole bunch of gamers who are passionate, shall we say, about breaking into the system.
Gamers look at systems and find ways to, well, break it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a natural order of things, kind of like with how it was at the lawsuit with Vaxnar, how you could, unredact certain things because somebody screwed up.
Well, there's a difference between just screwing up and having a court tell you, put your documents here, and a whole bunch of other people finding that folder and going, oh, hey, look, evidence.
Yeah, that's a good point. Though, and this isn't a justification for that, but, recall that a lot of the stuff that gets put into evidence like that does go public. So I'm not sure that was the intent here, but
sure, yeah. I think a lot of this was probably used as temporary evidence. I honestly don't know how the law works. It's just like here's some things we can show the court, and then we can show more later. Because it wasn't like a complete list up until the start of the trial of games that they've sold or games that they've given away for free on the store. It's just like the first 9 months.
All right. Well, when is this slated to go to trial? Do you remember?
Right now.
It's about. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why all this stuff has been leaking.
Okay. Well, that will be interesting to watch. Then we'll keep an eye on this story for sure as it unfolds. And that brings us to the end of the topics for the show. We're going to wind up with our "What Are We Watching?" segment, and then formally end the show. And of course, we're going to encourage folks at home to stick around for our weekly Florida Man after show segment, in which we will find out what the hell Florida Man did this week. All of the Florida Mans. Okay, so let's find out what we watched this week, what you are recommending that the folks at home might want to check out. And we will start off with Ensign Beard Fossé. What do you say, Jason?
So this week I watched War Games, which is the 1980s,
1983, I think.
1983 nuclear war thriller with Matthew Broderick playing a early proto Ferris Bueller.
A nice game of chess.
Yeah.
And
that's the one with the screenshot that starts out with chess and ends with thermonuclear war?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one. It's a classic.
It's it holds up really well. It has the
It
late
does.
John Spencer in it. Turn your key, sir. Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, and he's about to shoot him. That's right. That
Yeah.
was a great scene. And that's
Haven't seen
true
that movie
to
in
life.
years.
I haven't seen it either. Probably. Where is it? Where did you watch it? What's it on?
It's on YouTube with YouTube commercials,
Oh, okay.
so you can watch it with
Alright.
commercials. But it was, I mean, I haven't seen it forever, but it's a really good film, and so yeah, that's what I watched. We were watching, of course, Mighty Ducks and all the other usual stuff. But
Are you liking Mighty Ducks?
Yeah,
You're talking about the
it's-
series, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's full of cheese factor, but I really do enjoy it.
I've
Better-
been enjoying it too.
Yeah. I thought its premiere was better than The Bad Batch too. So anyway,
Oh,
Whoa, that's
Yeah. I agree with you on that one
Fuck
because I've really liked it so far.
fuck you all.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
No,
I
no.
actually enjoy the show. It's good family television, and I've gotten past. I now appreciate why Gordon Bombay was now that
Thank
has taken the the dive. But at the same time, I do hope that it makes sense for the character and in this story. I just hope that like this trope, because it has become a bit of a trope, doesn't continue long.
Oh, I think it's definitely moving away from that for sure. Okay, Stalwart Justin.
Well, I watched the My Ducks Game Changers this week. Nope. As he said, it's actually really coming along quite nicely. I've really enjoyed how they've integrated the old movie into this current iteration of it. And I hope they keep it up so far. Other than that, I really haven't watched too much this week. There's nothing really much else on other than the Bad Batch and Invincible's over. I did watch The Flash. That's
I've
a
written it off.
disappointment.
I've written it
Yeah,
off.
but Batwoman's actually getting pretty good.
Is it? Because I haven't
Yes.
watched it since season one.
You
Speaking
should
of
watch.
Flash, I don't know if you
Go
guys
ahead.
saw, but with the Flash, I don't know if you saw, but Wells and Cisco are leaving
Yep.
after the end of this season.
Yeah, well, I wish he'd cancel it after this season, but
They
hey,
really should. I think it is.
it's past his prime.
Yeah,
But
it is.
Legends is actually really fun this season so far.
And it's funny because that show has been on the bubble for years.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
keep
I mean,
bringing
well,
it back
see,
barely.
they got a trope. They got a trope that they just don't give a fuck, and they just go with whatever happens, and it works for them.
Yeah,
It
if
works.
It works for them. Why not?
It works for them. So hey, it's better than like Supergirl season this year. Yeah.
Well, you have to remember that most of what you've seen of Supergirl this year is actually the end of last season because they ended early because of COVID. So their true season 6 beginning has only barely just started. So I'm holding out hope that once
I'll hope that it gets better.
yeah. Well, we
Hey.
won't know until the fall because we're not going to see the rest of the episodes until
When does
then.
Superman and Lois start back up?
It starts off next
week,
week.
ain't it?
I think it's next week.
Okay, I'll be waiting for that one.
Actually,
They made
What I-
the episodes available on HBO Max,
on HBO
so
Max, yes.
I'll actually
And
be able to watch it.
and you know what? I have been rewatching them this week on HBO Max and binged one after the other with no commercials. It is so much better. It's been a real treat to watch that way.
I watch it on Kodi, which I can just wait for the episode to appear up there, so I don't have to watch those fucking commercials because just all the commercials they try to pack into that damn thing. It just makes it.
Well, just remember that commercials pay for that show. So
It does, but so does a subscription to a service.
right. So yeah, watch it because it's only for a limited time, Ross. I think it ends when the show comes back.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a week or two. So double check that because I know it's just for limited time. So
Yeah,
take
it's what it
advantage
is
while you
next
can.
week.
It's only, is it 4 episodes or 5? It's not
Yeah.
a ton. So yeah, it's I'd love to hear what you think about it now that you're catching up. Okay. Travis and Lane.
Okay, so we didn't do Disney Roulette last weekend because I was obviously out of town. So I haven't really
Eating
watched...
catfish.
Yes, I was eating catfish, and it was fucking delicious. And I mean, like, I could say like what I watched the previous weekend, which was just the live action Aladdin because we pulled that. But
God, I'm
instead,
sorry.
it wasn't the worst remake I've ever seen or live action movie I've ever seen. So I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad, like terrible.
Still sorry.
But instead, I'm going to talk a little about a specific anniversary that is tomorrow. 4 years ago, May 8th, 2017, there was a fun little thing that happened in my neck of the woods. Quote unquote fun. I was kind of watching some tornado videos this week because storm season is starting to pop up. And, well, 4 years ago tomorrow, the absolute worst storm that I have ever been in hit, and it destroyed my car, and it actually kind of like it actually resulted in a video that I made that actually kind of earned me a little bit of money. So, you know, taking the good with the bad.
That was hail, right? Wasn't
Yes, it was a very, very, very bad hailstorm. Unlike anything I had ever personally seen. It was the first time that I had seen hail the size of golf balls and baseballs, actually. And I actually have a picture here from that storm.
Wow.
That was falling. And it destroyed my 2002 Saturn. There was actually at one point, like towards the driver's side headlight, there was a hole just punched straight through the plastic body the size of a baseball that just the hail punched clean through. And yeah, I recorded a 14-minute video of just watching this storm approach because like I enjoy filming weather. I enjoy filming lightning. I enjoy, you know, just kind of like, oh, there's a storm coming. And I watched this video today just kind of because it was on my mind.
Why don't you post it? You should post it.
I will post it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and provide a disclaimer that I do get very eccentric in this video.
Okay, you've got a weasel sitting next to you.
And you use fidget spinners.
Look. All I'm going to say
a compliment. That's a compliment.
All I'm going to say is there's a whole lot of oh my god.
Yes. Oh, you've seen the video.
Yes. Oh my god. And what the like? I mean, you know, there's none of this going on.
Jesus.
There's none of that going on. So
no,
you know.
There's none of that going on, Justin. Like,
and there should be none of that going on.
Like, very much like it's just like it's a 14-minute video of just the storm approaching, and like for the most part, it's pretty like calm. It isn't until like the peak of the storm where I start to freak out because
oh, that's your video. You're the hail guy.
I'm the hail guy. Like,
Justin, have you seen this video elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Where are you watching this video?
It's on YouTube.
Like, it's been floating around for a while.
Yeah, post a link.
I'll find it.
I'll post it.
I would love to see it
but
because I actually was there a few days after.
It was
what year was this again?
2017.
Yeah, that was a nasty storm. Yeah, we got hit here really hard too.
But like, I just watching this video again and just like seeing then what I didn't realize was coming. There's this white sheen in the distance at the very start of the video that I didn't realize was just this monster hailstorm just slowly but surely coming.
Oh, I found it.
Eventually, like, you start to hear this very dull roar in the video, and like it isn't too long before you start to see like you hear this clink of little pea-sized / marble-sized hail.
It's a very slow realization for
yes,
Travis.
it's very slow. And when like eventually like I start to the hail's getting bigger, and I start to realize it's getting a bit more severe. And like I kid you not, in the video I say, I hope my car is okay after this. And as soon as I said that, I will always remember this. There was this whop right next to me. And I look, and there is this golf ball sized ice welt just in the cement. I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, I need to watch this video clearly.
Travis, you would have loved to have been in my neck of the woods about this time last year when the derecho blew through.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Like, people laugh at my reaction in this video, but I mean, and people thought I was there were some people who thought I was very annoying in this video, and I get it, but you guys got to understand that this was the first time that I had seen hail like this, and I honestly never thought I would see hail in this neck of the woods. And so, like, seeing hail
is common in Colorado.
I mean, it's common, and I've been in my fair share of hailstorms, but again, I have never seen hail like this.
Yeah, that big is not common, but
like even the CEO of the dealership I was working at the time when this was happening, when he came by days later, he said that he'd never seen anything quite like this before, and he was actually very generous in terms of like giving us bonuses like in the months afterwards. So much love to him for that. But yeah, it was a storm that I will never ever forget. I will link you guys the video in private chat, and you can laugh at just how eccentric I get in this video.
Is this pre-Lane?
This is pre-Lane. I mean, Lane was around. Like he was around, but I didn't have little plush. Sorry.
Was it?
I think the watch is a little too.
Was it the one that was the one that? Denver, Golden, Colorado, severe thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I'm on your YouTube.
Yeah. Go ahead and put it on. Deal with it online, because we're running out of time. Ross, Eyebrows of Doom. What did you watch this week?
I haven't been able to watch much this week, but
go ahead. You're just a little delayed.
Ross.
Yeah, just keep talking.
Okay. I haven't been able to watch much this week, but I was able to finally finish a book I've been reading called Hour of the Wolf, the latest in the Battletech line of fiction, which inspired me to finally get these miniatures painted in the scheme of my custom mercenary company. Unfortunately, the varnish I was using is a gloss, so this thing is coming off extremely shiny, and it should not be. But I think it's pretty cool anyway.
I like it shiny.
Yeah. In Hour of the Wolf, in the year 3152, the power ruling Earth and much of the center of the colonized area of space, the Republic of the Sphere, has fallen on very bad times. It's incredibly weak, and the energy shield that is protecting both Earth and the surrounding systems is falling. A rival power known as the clans, fulfilling the mandate of their founder a century ago, is invading and is bent on conquering Earth with legions of battle mechs. It's exciting. It's futuristic. It's a little campy at times. It was started in the 80s after all, but it was a fun read. It's kickstarting this entirely new storytelling era of Battletech, advancing the story forward, introducing a whole bunch of new mechs, new vehicles, new characters, and substantially altering the balance of power in the inner sphere.
All right, a good recommendation. Okay, that brings us to Sun Seal. What did you watch this week, Sun?
So, okay, I have two things. again, I point to It's a Southern Thing for their If Mom Was a Marvel Superhero video this week. It's absolutely brilliant. I would actually want Disney to make a Marvel movie out of that. Absolutely. And the second one this week was a new YouTube channel I found about some. It's basically like a reaction channel, but it's in Pakistan, and they take they bring in a bunch of different tribal citizens, like, so they're like in the tribal areas of Pakistan. They'll bring them to the big city and then have them react to different things. And the video that I watched in particular was them watching Bob Ross and the Joy of Painting.
Yes.
And it just goes to prove that if you have a mild distaste of Bob Ross, you're not human.
Say what?
I couldn't agree more, son.
If you have even a mild distaste of Bob Ross, you're not human.
Oh, you're saying that they don't have a mild distaste.
Right. They absolutely love Bob Ross.
That had me worried for a second.
Because he is a minor god.
Oh my God, Travis. You got me cracking up.
What?
He's watching your video.
Justin's watching the video.
I'm sorry that I was very eccentric on this video.
Don't apologize.
You don't, yeah, I'm with Son. You don't need to apologize.
At the end of the video, he's like,
"You're perfect,
video
just as you are, Travis and Lane."
Yeah, at the end of the video, he says, "Fuck it, I'm turning this off. I'm pissed off."
It's perfect. That is perfect.
My car was destroyed. So
your car was destroyed. Exactly. I'm totally down with that. Son, anything else?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, I have still been watching SG-1, but I've kind of slowed down to watch like the original Stargate. And oh my God, the original Stargate! Holy crap!
The original Stargate movie?
Yeah, the original movie.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
Because there's such a leap between all of the history of SG-1 and the actual movie in the first place. Because in the movie in the first place, Abydos is in the Kalian Galaxy, wherever the hell that is.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in SG-1, it's actually still part of this galaxy, and Atlantis is in the Pegasus Galaxy.
Well, more importantly, it's one of the closer planets to Earth, to explain why it was impacted by stellar drift.
Yeah, well, yeah. So watching the movie, I retconned in my head what they should have said, like in the TV series. It's like, I thought that stuff was supposed to be in another galaxy, and then like Samantha would literally just turn the map a little bit and go, "You guys had the map at the wrong angle."
Okay.
But
all right.
The other difference is in the movie, it's Jack O'Neill with one L. In the series, it's Jack O'Neill with two L's.
Yeah, but see, that's the other thing. In the series, they pause it and then prove that there are multiple other galaxies with the same SG-1 team, basically, in some form or another. So it literally could have been a completely different dimensional SG-1, a different dimensional.
That's a clever retcon.
Yeah.
The SG-1, the Stargate multiverse.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's be honest. It was a cinematic universe before Marvel.
Well, it was really just the one movie, but
they did Atlantis too. So,
but they had the SG-1 series, the Atlantis series. They had the what is it? The Galaxy Universe series, and then they had 3 different other made-for-TV films,
all set in SG-1.
Yeah,
right.
All dealing with different things. That's one thing about Stargate. They tried to stay as consistent as reasonably possible.
And it inspired sci-fi's entire post-90s and 2000s lineup.
That's true.
Ancient aliens.
We miss you, Stargate.
Everything's aliens.
Worldwide Wrestling. Oh, wait.
Oh, that too, yeah.
We miss you, Stargate. Please give us something worthwhile.
I think its day is done
No.
for at least a generation. It'll probably be, I bet it will be rebooted eventually, but
It will.
SG-1?
it won't be for a while. Yeah.
I'm not a street one.
Well, okay, the thing about
SG1
SG1 is, especially the early seasons, was they did it in such a way that kind of, because, early season SG1 was around about late 90s. So they kind of made it to where, hey, look, this is humans doing these things, and it's in our time frame. It's not set off in the far future or the far past. It's relatively current time. So they, that's what drew a lot of fans in. That, and they were using fucking Cheyenne Mountain.
There's
In Colorado.
There's one series
Which also appears in War Games. See, it all wraps up.
There's one.
Turn your key, sir.
There's one series from the Sci-Fi Channel that has an infinite number of rebootability, and that
Sliders?
is the Warehouse series.
Oh, yeah, Warehouse 13.
Oh, yeah.
Because Warehouse 13 was only the 13th warehouse. You could have ones after. You could have ones before.
True. Unfortunately, I think that's not a franchise to be.
That. Sci-fi is too stupid to do that. They much rather have stuff like Sharknado and
Sci-Fi doesn't have to be the one to do it. They don't own the show. The studio that owns it decides. But I just don't see it happening.
And those Sharknado movies make Sci-Fi, also known as NBC, also known as Comcast, a shit ton of money.
Indeed, it makes me want.
It's because they're cheaply acquired and can turn over for viewership.
And quite honestly, it keeps Tara Reid out of doing porn, so I'm happy about that.
This week on Disaster Piece.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to a wrap. I think I've already mentioned what I watched this week. I've also been watching actually selected episodes of earlier seasons of Outlander, which I haven't seen since they originally aired, and I've been really enjoying that. I haven't been watching them in order or anything very much. It's kind of randomly picking one here and there, and it's been
So you've been foxing Firefly on it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay.
You still need to watch Blood of Zeus.
I do. It is still on my list. Okay, so that brings us to the formal end of today's show, this week's show. Thank you for joining us, folks at home. Thank you to my fellow hosts for their wit and wisdom for the week. And
remember, you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
And
stay new to your pets.
Especially you, Travis.
Stay new to your
and Blaine.
Play us out, keyboard cat.
Okay, yes, thank you, son.
Flawless victory.
That's the wrong.
That's the wrong cue. There we go.
I will never tell you, I'm not going to scream like I did in the video, Lane. No.
Oh my God!
My favorite part of our keyboard cat play out, is that every week, that's when Travis takes time to have a little talk with Lane. You can hear them mumbling in the background while we're all dancing around.
I think we should play Travis's video.
I can't help but notice that Carlos was quite distracted at the beginning of this episode, and I have to wonder if it was because of the footage of me flying through space.
When you first put it up there, it's very compelling when it takes up the whole screen.
Was it the footage of you flying through space, or was it the picture you posted in our group chat?
Probably a picture.
It was the footage, because at that point he was focused here.
Yeah,
and he's.
Are you sure you just didn't have a big ass photo blown up?
He had to stop and think for a second, and before he could say the eyebrows of doom.
Yeah,
which
that's
lets
right.
me know he was distracted.
I was distracted.
Damn, son.
Look, there's a reason I'm the contrarian. I notice shit.
She
There
does.
you
She
go.
does.
And next week we'll be playing the game live while we're on the show. That'll be fun.
Florida man steals police car, crashes during high-speed chase.
Indeed. We're
Runs.
moving into the Florida Man segment, folks at home. So
You guys have a good one. Time
thank
for
you,
bed,
Travis and Lane.
Bye-bye, you all.
Lane, put him to bed.
So
He's had it.
as the headline continues, or I'll start over. Florida man steals police car, crashes during high-speed chase, runs, and then steals a second police car before being caught.
Florida man.
Well,
I have a
look,
good-
if you want to steal a car that isn't speed locked, you want a police car.
This is true.
true.
Because in most cases, police cars are boosted.
Mm-hmm.
Florida woman launched with Tiger King fame launches her own cryptocurrency.
Oh God.
Dollar sign cat, or as it reads, scat, which some would
Oh,
say,
man.
some would say is named after her deceased husband.
I'm going to say it right now. That cryptocurrency is a shitty investment.
That particular one, or all cryptocurrency?
That particular one.
Because I have actually been investing in cryptocurrency, and Joe Diaz and I are having like an entire conversation over text about our cryptocurrency.
Joe got me into it because I use Coinbase and I've been kind of throwing a little bit in here and there.
I've made some real money. I have to
Yeah, I
say.
have
So-
too. I mean, after like this small amount, and then I've watched it just kind of. I'm like, yeah, money.
Ross,
This isn't a Florida man, but it definitely should be. Nashville man allegedly slings colostomy bag at police outside of Kid Rock's Big Ass Rock and Roll Steakhouse.
wow, there is so much
Nashville
wrong with,
man
there's so much wrong with virtually every word you said there.
throwing scat.
My hometown, ladies and gentlemen.
That goes really good with the other scat story. So well done, Ross.
Florida woman arrested in alleged Whopper throwing racial tirade.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
one.
I heard about that one. Yeah.
And you,
Deputy.
Florida woman throwing
Florida-
whoppers, and screaming and hollering.
Deputies. Florida man impersonating officer handcuffed neighbor over loud music.
I thought about that would be some shit that would happen here. I mean, oh my god.
Well, I have two iPhone-related Florida man stories. So, number one is Florida man tries to track his robbery victim by attaching an iPhone to his car.
Oh my god.
He could have done that with just one of those new AirTags, but whatever.
Florida man.
And here is another one. Florida man finds Michigan woman's iPhone buried at the beach. She apparently
that's
lost
nice.
it at the beach. It was under the sand. Florida man found it. Michigan woman happy.
That's nice. That's wholesome. Beer cans fall out of truck of Florida man named the Snookus during Cape DUI investigation.
Wow.
Florida woman arrested for offering people free lap dances and asking cops to bang her.
Yep, I read that one a couple of weeks ago.
Wait. Say that again.
Florida woman arrested for offering people free lap dances and asking cops to bang her.
Yep,
Wow.
yep. I read that one a couple of weeks ago.
What? Where is that printed? Who printed that story?
The International Business Trader. Hold on, let me.
Wow.
I mean, I'm getting him from Reddit. So
Son, this is a common occurrence. It's a common occurrence in Florida.
Okay, it could
I
be
mean,
a
she
different
isn't-
woman.
she isn't bad looking.
Oh God.
I mean, she's not like
Okay, here's a funny one. Half-naked Florida man found sleeping behind school dumpster. What they don't mention in the headline is that the half of him that was naked was from the waist down.
Of course.
That's what's called burying the lead.
pedophile.
No, let's not go there.
Yeah, he was sleeping.
Waist down. Oh,
Florida man attacks family with his katana. No word yet if it's because they clean his wafu.
Florida man.
It's waifu.
Waifu.
Oh God. Things you should never allow. Florida men with guns or swords.
Florida woman arrested for slapping blind elementary student.
Ooh.
What?
What?
Florida woman arrested for slapping blind elementary student. Do you want details on the
Why?
story?
Yeah, I want details.
A Collier County public school aide accused of slapping a blind elementary school student was arrested Thursday, authorities say. Barbara Morgan, stupid ad pop-up, hold on. Faces misdemeanor battery charges after the Collier County Sheriff deputies say she struck a student in the Big Cypress Elementary School cafeteria on October 27th. Detectives reviewed video footage from inside the school cafeteria. The video showed the student moving his lunch tray to the side and Morgan pushing it back to him. The boy moved the tray again and Morgan slapped him across the face, according to an arrest report. A witness heard the slap several tables away.
Wow.
Several people what?
Some witnesses heard the slap several tables away.
Oh, several tables away.
So it was like,
wow. That's
the boy lowered his
crazy.
head for a while, and detectives did not see him act aggressively towards his aide. Oh, man.
Wow.
School
Did they
principal
mention
told-
what happened to her? What happened to her?
She was arrested.
She was arrested.
Okay.
She was assigned to the boy full-time to accompany him every day because he was blind. She was a substitute aide who'd been with him since the beginning of the school year. In an interview with detectives, she said the boy had kicked and spat at her when she wouldn't get a bag of potato chips from him in the lunch line. When investigators told the aide the video didn't show the student being aggressive towards her, she said the boy kicked her in the past and she did not deliberately slapped him. Oh, this is not the first time she's been investigated for battery against a child.
Oh boy!
Oh boy.
See, I thought we weren't supposed to be covering stories like this. Jesus.
Well, poor Blaine.
I've shared a story about a British guy. Another Doctor Who, John Barrowman, has also been accused of repeatedly exposing himself to co-workers on two
that sounds
BBC
about right.
productions, prompting the questions about whether the corporation allowed lax culture on its sets in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, I want. Do you have a link to that? You did link that.
I did. Yeah.
If that's the case, and that those allegations are true, it may explain why Christopher Eccleston was disgusted and left.
Well, Christopher Eccleston has definitely hinted at some kind of impropriety on set that he did not appreciate.
He will be at what's it called here locally? Maybe I should go and ask him. See if he'll open up.
So where's the Kick Barrowman movement?
Well, apparently this just came out
Yeah.
like today, right?
Yeah, it just came out today.
This article may have come out today. These allegations have been floating around for at least a year and better now.
Well, sure, but they haven't really been public. They've been floating around in the background. I mean, I certainly hadn't heard about it till today.
So,
That's if true, it's disappointing because I really like John Barrowman.
So I guess the headline is about I can't really read this headline properly without having to do investigation, but I'll read it anyway. Brand new Florida man, take that as you will,
Okay.
drives hundreds of miles with great horned owl stuck in his truck's grill. When he was through with his journey, the great horned owl was still alive. They plucked it from the grill. It was fine for the most part, but yeah.
How long a journey we're talking about here? Poor thing.
Florida man, hooting it
Well-
along the road, Florida man.
Hundreds of miles, he was probably still in Florida.
Hooting it along the road, Florida
So-
man.
Yeah, so it's several hours. Okay, so here's another Florida man bird story. Florida man accused of nearly detaching seagull's wing. An Orlando man was arrested after being accused of kicking a protected seagull. Who protects seagulls? They're like rats with wings.
They are protected here in Utah, let me tell you.
I just thought there was a shit ton of them.
There
They're
are, but they
protected
are
here.
super protected because it's like they're what led the Mormons to the promised land.
Oh, okay. Then, all right. Fine. I can see that. Yeah, so he kicked the seagull and then hit it with a rock, injuring it so badly that it nearly took off its wing. So, what is it with Florida man and birds?
I don't know. There's all kinds of like Florida man torturing bird stories I've grew up hearing about.
Wow. Yes, it's a good reminder to the folks at home that you are a Florida man. Recovering Florida man? How should we refer to you?
Bloodline Florida man.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I
He's a
don't know.
recovering Florida man, obviously.
Recovering.
Well,
Okay,
he was
recovering.
smart enough to get away.
Indeed.
Viral photo of Tampa Florida man with tiger shark sparks investigation from wildlife officials.
Dumbass Florida man. If you're going to do something illegal,
Dude is kind of just like cradling it like it's a fucking cat, honestly.
if you're going to do something stupid and illegal, don't post a fucking photo unless you don't care about getting caught.
Okay, here's the thing though, Justin, is that if you're stupid enough to do it, you're stupid enough to post it.
Well, then, yeah, can we have Alec here? So,
You're also dumb enough to not know that it's illegal.
and it is a reference again, Alec Peter.
How many people? So have you guys been? So I don't know if you guys have been following some of the trials happening now for the folks who decided to, go visit their congressman without permission on January 6th.
Yes, and many of whom are Florida men.
idiots?
Many of whom are Florida men, but they're all on there being like, like this isn't fair. My freedom's been taken away from me. I don't.
Yeah,
know
I
why
read
this-
that one today.
It's like, yeah, these people are fucking idiots.
Florida man arrested after NSP troopers find over 400 pounds of marijuana hidden in ATMs.
What?
Florida stoners.
Was this a
and
way for them to like distribute?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Carlos,
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Florida man arrested.
By the
for-
way, welcome,
Oh,
Raul.
I'm so sorry. I fell asleep waiting for the show, as you can tell by my hair.
So here's the thing. I wondered what NSP was. Okay, so here's the first sentence in the article. A man from Florida was arrested on Friday after Nebraska State Patrol troopers found over 400 pounds of marijuana during a traffic stop.
Yep, it's another one of those Florida man doing bad things in other states stories. There was another one this week about a guy, a Florida man who was arrested for killing someone in Jersey City.
God.
Florida man, they're bad everywhere they go.
So I did find a new Reddit that is pretty epic besides Florida man. It's called botched surgeries.
Oh,
Oh, Vincent.
See, you all grown. I grew up watching surgery for dinner.
oh.
My mom's a nurse, and we would sit down and we would watch surgeries eating dinner.
Well, I guess it can't be any worse than pimple poppers.
Oh, believe me, there are worse things than pimple popper.
Oh, yes. They're much worse.
Well, here's one. Two Florida men find a mammoth bone from the Ice Age while scuba diving.
Okay.
I feel like there's a sex joke in there, but you have to look hard.
Well, it's a mammoth boner.
Mammoths.
So remember that dinosaur video we had from a few weeks ago? Yeah, now we have home surveillance video footage capturing UFO sightings in Florida.
In Florida, of course.
Mhm.
Isn't that where you would go if you were an alien?
Hell no. Now
Yeah,
with Trump,
yes, no.
Apparently, it's the only place that they could get a subject. So
I wouldn't even go down. Like send my worst enemy down there. Sorry, any Florida fans. You all just don't like let's make fun of you.
I feel attacked.
Well, we missed you this week, Raul.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I just couldn't make it. It was just. I tried.
It happens. It happens. But at least you made it from Florida, man.
I love Florida, man. As you know.
So here's one. Florida man flew to Portland to break into women's cars at daycares, parks, and gyms and steal their IDs, prosecutor says.
You had to go all the way to
That's
Portland.
complicated. That's complicated.
That's
That's complicated, Florida man. That is no fun.
That's sophisticated Florida man.
That's a
That's
must
like-
be a
that's like-
Florida man transplant because not a normal Florida
Baron
man.
Zemo, Florida man.
Oh, I mentioned earlier, by the way, that I did a rewatch of Civil War this past week.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
It holds up really well, and because I'd really sort of forgotten exactly what Zemo did, and so after watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, yeah, I went back to it, and they actually, they really picked up on the same sort of vibe that they showed in Civil War, and really saw it through in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
This is why I think we should do a Marvel rewatch while we're waiting on Star Trek content.
Or Star Wars content.
Yeah.
That's a lot of movies, dude. There's 23.
Yeah.
Maybe we could take
How
one
long is it
per
to get
week.
for Star Trek again?
Maybe we could take one per week, guys.
Maybe.
So here's one. Florida man dances in celebration after pawning stolen items.
Did he dance? Did he
That's-
dance? Wait. Was he dancing in Celebration or was he dancing in the city of Celebration?
No,
That's right.
That's right. There is a celebration. Florida.
And with that, I am going to bed.
Isn't Celebration the Disney city little town?
Yeah, it was created by Disney. They don't own it or anything. It's just they developed it, and but
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like they were trying to make it part of them, but because Disney has a quasi government agency, but nobody has voting rights in that quasi government agency because there's no residents. So they basically had to de-annex the city of Celebration as being part of that improvement district because they didn't want to give those residents power over Disney zoning laws.
Right, because they wanted it to look and feel a very specific way. It's very sort of small town Americana kind
Right.
of feel.
Walt Disney got a grant, a pass from the government to develop something like this, like what Fasé was talking about. So that they literally have control over the areas that they own, like no other company has in America.
Yes, that's how desperate Florida was for
Jason,
Disney
I can't
development.
believe we got same back scratchers.
Speaking of Disney and Florida men arrested for camping at Walt Disney World's abandoned Discovery Island. The 40-something camper had been planning to stay for the week.
Wow.
Oh.
That actually sounds kind of fun. As a kid, I always wanted to live on Tom Sawyer Island in Disneyland.
They should redevelop that into camp land, or into land.
Oh, now it's the Pirates of Caribbean Island.
There's like treehouse duplexes that you could stay in the Disney property.
I would do that.
Yeah, this sounds like fun. Anyway, if I say you take it easy, sir.
Yep.
Indeed. Good night. I think I'm going to push off as well. There was one thing what was I going to say? Damn, I'm blanking on it.
Florida man. Okay, so this one's an oldie headline from May 7th, 2018. Florida man charged with trying to barbecue sex offenders at a motel.
Get on, Florida man.
Were they having a convention or something? More than one?
I don't know. I would assume it's a "you fucked with my daughters, prepare to die" situation.
Prepare to die. Oh my goodness.
So what did you remember what you forgot yet?
No, but I do have another Florida man story. Florida man arrested at, I love this, Lake Fanny boat ramp, propositioning undercover officer to engage in lewd sex.
Yay!
So I have our Florida hero story of the week, which I think we covered this last week. Honestly, Florida man jumps into canal to rescue woman from sinking vehicle. Okay. And I have our Florida Justice for Florida Man story of the week. Florida man awarded $37,500 after cops mistake glazed donut crumbs for meth.
Wait, reread that?
You figure if anybody knew the difference between glazed donut crumbs and meth, it'd be the cops.
Florida man awarded $37,500 after cops mistake glazed donut crumbs for meth.
How? Wow.
To serve and protect.
Or something.
Or something.
Or fail. But, Florida, yay.
Oh, we have an update on the lawn situation. Court upholds city's $30,000 fine for Florida man's overgrown lawn.
Oh, the one who got fined for the tree. Yeah, for the grass.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, that one. Lordy.
Well, I think I am out of Florida man stories.
Florida woman hits ex with hammer, smears car with barbecue sauce.
Oh, are we sure it was barbecue sauce?
That's what the report says.
Oh, ouch. Ouch. Well, my goodness.
I think I'm wiped, guys.
Yeah, me too. So thank you all for being here this week. Baul, thank you for joining us, even if it was late. Always good to see you and hear you.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sunday, right?
Sunday.
What Sunday?
We're the Axe Monitor stuff.
Oh yeah, the Axe Monitor newsletter is coming out.
Okay, Sunday Axe Monitor newsletter. Don't forget.
Right.
And I will have some more merch stuff coming up for Action Hunt, and I have a request for stuff because people want to see stuff from this apparently. So I'm going to run with it as much as possible.
Okay.
But I did, yeah. All right, I'm going to play us out.
Oh, yeah, play us out, Keyboard Cat.